Kentucky's rolling hills and sprawling farmland may seem peaceful by day, but as darkness falls, many of these quiet fields and old farmhouses reveal a far more sinister side. Hidden beneath the surface of these rural landscapes are stories of tragedy, restless spirits, and unexplained events that have been whispered through generations, from barns where shadows move on their own, to homes where the past refuses to rest. The haunted farms of Kentucky hold secrets that will make you look twice at the next country road you drive down. Tonight, we invite you to step into the world of Kentucky's most haunted farms places, where history, mystery, and the supernatural collide. Prepare yourself for chilling tales of lives lost, spirits lingering, and dark pasts that refuse to stay buried. The Thomas Huey Farm in Big Bone, Kentucky, stands as a relic of a bygone era, its Gothic Revival architecture casting long shadows across the rolling fields at dusk. Built in 1865, the house has drawn the attention of historians, locals, and paranormal enthusiasts alike. But it is the stories surrounding its past that have truly cemented its reputation as a haunted landmark. According to family legend, Thomas Huey, the original owner, amassed a small fortune before the Civil War and buried a chest of gold and silver somewhere on the property. After the war, using the hidden treasure, he constructed the stately farmhouse with its pointed gables, intricate woodwork, and imposing presence. The aura of mystery that has surrounded the house for generations is only heightened by the belief that the treasure, and perhaps the restless spirits of those who once inhabited the land, have never truly left. Visitors to the Thomas Huey farm often report an unsettling feeling upon approaching the property. The air seems heavier, as if the weight of history presses down from the surrounding hills and the nearby cemetery. The cemetery itself is small but old, its weathered headstones leaning with age, some bearing dates from the early 1800s. On foggy mornings, the gravestones appear to float in the mist, and locals have long whispered that the spirits of those buried there wander the land after dark. Some claim to hear faint murmurs, almost like a conversation carried on the wind, echoing across the fields where once horses grazed and families labored. Inside the farmhouse, the atmosphere is no less foreboding. Paranormal investigators who have spent nights within its walls report a variety of strange occurrences. Footsteps echo across empty rooms, seemingly following the path of invisible inhabitants. Doors and windows are known to open and close on their own, often slamming shut with a force that rattles the fragile glass. Shadows flit just beyond the edge of vision, disappearing whenever someone tries to look directly at them. Some investigators have described a feeling of being watched, an unseen presence that moves silently from room to room, as if guarding the secrets of the house. It is easy to imagine Thomas Huey himself, the man who supposedly buried the treasure, lingering in spectral form, keeping a watchful eye over what he once claimed as his own. Several rooms in the house seem particularly active. The parlor, with its high ceilings and ornate fireplace, is often cited as a hotspot for unexplained phenomena. Objects left on tables or shelves are said to shift overnight, sometimes disappearing entirely, only to reappear in unexpected locations. One investigator reported hearing the distinct clink of coins falling, a chilling echo of the buried chest of gold, though no such treasure was ever found during the investigation. Upstairs, the master bedroom exudes a cold, oppressive energy that causes visitors to shiver even on warm days. Doors here creak open slowly, revealing nothing but empty space. And some have felt hands brush against their shoulders or the back of their necks, despite being completely alone. The kitchen, often the heart of any home, carries its own legends. Locals claim that at night, the faint aroma of cooking can be detected, as if unseen cooks are preparing a meal long after the last resident departed. Footsteps shuffle across the wooden floor, accompanied by the clattering of pots and pans that vanish when approached. Investigators equipped with recording devices have captured ghostly voices, some calling out names or murmuring indistinct phrases that chill the blood. Many of these voices seem agitated or mournful, a reminder that the Thomas Huey farm is more than just a home. It is a vessel for memories, regrets, and perhaps even unfinished business. The surrounding property only amplifies the eerie experience. The fields stretch for miles, broken only by ancient stone fences and overgrown paths that once guided horses and wagons. Hikers and visitors have reported sudden drops in temperature, inexplicable cold spots that seem to follow them as they walk the grounds. Some have glimpsed figures standing at the edges of the field, silhouettes of people dressed in old-fashioned attire, watching silently before vanishing into the twilight. The small cemetery adjacent to the farm adds another layer of haunting. Many believe that those interred there are restless spirits, unable to leave the land they once called home. Some headstones are cracked or toppled, their inscriptions faded. Yet locals claim that during certain nights, the graves seem freshly disturbed, as though something or someone is moving beneath the soil. It is not uncommon for visitors to hear sobbing, laughter, or distant shouting, as if the past refuses to remain silent. Even from the porch of the farmhouse, the cemetery appears to pulse with life, though none of it is visible or tangible in a conventional sense. Stories of hauntings at the Thomas Huey farm are as old as the house itself. From the earliest generations, family members spoke of strange occurrences, whispers in empty rooms, glimpses of figures in the corner of the eye, and objects inexplicably moving from place to place. Over time, these stories became woven into the very identity of the farm, drawing curiosity seekers, historians, and paranormal investigators eager to experience the unknown. Despite numerous investigations, the mystery endures. No one has found the legendary chest of gold, and the spirit sift. They exist to remain elusive, their motives hidden, their presence both a warning and an invitation. Even today, the Thomas Huey farm remains a place where the past refuses to rest. Its Gothic architecture and overgrown grounds set the stage for a haunting experience that goes beyond simple fear. Visitors leave with an uneasy awareness that history lives on in unexpected ways. That the people who once walked these fields and filled the house with life may still linger in shadow. The legend of the buried treasure adds a tangible link to the past. A reminder that secrets buried long ago may never truly be forgotten. For those who step onto the property, the Thomas Huey farm is more than just a house. It is a portal to a time when life and death, wealth and loss, joy and sorrow intertwined, leaving behind echoes that continue to reverberate across the centuries. From shadowy figures flitting through empty halls to the inexplicable sounds of footsteps and whispers, the farm captures the imagination and the fear of all who visit. Whether drawn by the legend of buried treasure, the allure of paranormal activity, or the haunting beauty of the Gothic Revival architecture, anyone who approaches the Thomas Huey farm cannot help but feel the weight of history pressing down. The presence of the past, still lingering, patient, and watchful, on the land where the shadows never seem to fade. The Benton family farm in Walton, Kentucky, sits quietly among rolling fields. Its weathered farmhouse, standing as a testament to over a century of history, mystery, and lingering sorrow. Established in the early 1900s, the farm has been the backdrop for stories of tragedy, unexplained phenomena, and persistent rumors of haunting. Its origins trace back to Dr. Ryle, a local physician who built the original farmhouse and tended to the surrounding land with care. Though the farm was meant to be a place of comfort and family life, it quickly became associated with misfortune. Dr. Ryle's young son suffered a severe head injury near the property, an event that would cast a shadow over the land for decades to come. Locals whispered about the boy's restless spirit, believing that his untimely accident left a residue of grief and lingering energy that could never be fully erased. When the Benton family moved into the farmhouse, they inherited not only the property but also the weight of its history. Almost immediately, the family reported strange and unsettling occurrences. Doors would creak open on their own, even when tightly latched. The soft thud of footsteps could be heard along empty hallways, echoing with no discernible source. At night, members of the Benton family often awoke to the sensation of being watched, a prickling feeling that something unseen was moving silently through the house. Objects would sometimes shift or vanish entirely, leaving the family bewildered and increasingly uneasy. while some dismiss these incidents as simple imagination or the quirks of an old house. The frequency and intensity of the events suggested something far more persistent and mysterious. The farmhouse itself carries an eerie presence. Its original wooden floors are creaking and warped with age, amplifying even the smallest movements. The layout is traditional for early 20th century rural homes, with a central hallway flanked by rooms that once hosted family meals, study sessions, and the quiet rituals of daily life. Yet today, these spaces often feel charged with a tension that goes beyond the natural wear of old wood and paint. Many visitors and investigators describe a sudden drop in temperature when entering certain rooms, an icy chill that lingers as though the air itself has absorbed decades of sorrow. Shadows move strangely across the walls, sometimes catching the eye for only a fraction of a second. Disappearing before a second glance can confirm their existence. Several rooms within the Benton farmhouse are particularly active. The parlor, where the family would have once entertained guests, is frequently cited as a hotspot for paranormal activity. Witnesses report seeing fleeting figures at the edge of vision, forms that appear and vanish without explanation. One investigator described a shadowy silhouette standing near the fireplace, a presence that seemed almost human in posture, yet impossibly dark and featureless. The bedroom of Dr. Ryle's son is said to retain an especially heavy energy, a lingering echo of the boy's pain and confusion. Items left on the bed or dresser are sometimes found in entirely different locations the following day, and faint crying or murmured voices have been reported during the quiet hours of the night. The Benton family also spoke of auditory phenomena that defy explanation. In the dead of night, they often heard what sounded like conversations in rooms that were empty, whispers that rose and fell with no identifiable pattern. Footsteps could be heard pacing upstairs, even when no one was present. On more than one occasion, the family claimed to hear the distressed wail of a child, echoing from the hallways and fading just as suddenly as it began. Investigators with recording equipment have captured low, indistinct murmurs, sometimes accompanied by the faint sound of a child laughing or calling out, though playback offers no clear source. Many have theorized that these sounds are residual, the psychic imprints of past events that remain trapped within the farmhouse's walls. Outside, the farm's fields and outbuildings contribute to the unsettling atmosphere. Overgrown paths wind past old barns and sheds, where shadows seem to gather and move with an almost sentient intent. Visitors walking the property often experience sudden, unexplained chills or a sense of being followed, though no one is visibly present. Others report hearing the creak of wagon wheels or the distant clatter of tools, remnants of a life long gone but somehow still active in spectral form. The interplay of past and present seems particularly strong here, with the farm's history etched into every surface and corner. The Benton family farm has become a popular site for paranormal investigations, attracting enthusiasts, researchers, and thrill seekers eager to witness the unexplained firsthand. Over the years, numerous visitors have recounted experiences that defy logical explanation: shadows darting in and out of view, cold spots that cling to the body, whispers carried on the window. Of these have been reported with remarkable consistency. Some investigators believe that the farm acts as a conduit for lingering spirits, an intersection of tragedy, memory, and energy that refuses to dissipate. Others suggest that the frequent reports of apparitions and sounds are manifestations of grief and trauma, imprinted on the property in a way that binds the past to the present. Despite the unsettling phenomena, the farm remains a testament to the resilience of those who have lived there. The Benton family endured the unexplained occurrences, and their stories have helped preserve the lore of the property. Today, the Benton family farm is more than a historical site. It is a place where the line between the living and the departed seems thin, where the echoes of sorrow and mystery continue to resonate. For those who visit, the farm offers both a glimpse into the past and a reminder that some histories, especially those marked by tragedy, never truly fade. The spirits that linger at Benton family farm may be invisible, but their presence is felt in every creak of the floorboards, every whisper in the wind, and every shadow that moves just beyond sight, patiently watching over the land that has borne witness to more than a century of stories untold. The Collinsworth Farm in Fallsburg, Kentucky, is a place where darkness seems to cling to every corner. A property steeped in a history that chills the blood and haunts the imagination. Stories surrounding the farm have circulated for decades, painting a grim picture of tragedy, violence, and restless spirits. Locals speak of the land in hushed tones, warning outsiders of the farm's ominous reputation. Over the years, reports have tied more than 19 deaths to the property, incidents ranging from kidnappings to acts of torture and mutilation, most often affecting young women between the ages of 18 and 25. This grim legacy has earned the Collinsworth Farm a fearsome reputation, regarded by many as one of the most haunted locations in Kentucky, where the echoes of past horrors linger with an unsettling persistence. The farmhouse itself stands as a somber reminder of its grim history, weathered and worn, with paint peeling from its wooden siding and broken windows staring out like hollow eyes. It exudes a foreboding presence even in daylight. Its interior is dim, the air thick with the scent of decay and disuse. Those who have stepped inside report an almost immediate feeling of unease, as though invisible eyes are observing every movement. The floors creak beneath the weight of the past, and the silence of the house is occasionally broken by inexplicable noises. The soft shuffle of footsteps across empty rooms, the distant slamming of doors, and faint cries that echo through the halls without source or explanation. Many visitors have described the sensation of being watched, a cold, oppressive awareness that seems to press down on the shoulders and chest, leaving them tense and uneasy. Some rooms of the Collinsworth farmhouse are particularly notorious. The bedrooms, where many of the most disturbing events reportedly took place, are said to retain an especially heavy energy. Investigators have reported objects moving without cause, chairs rocking slowly, doors opening and closing, and items disappearing entirely before reappearing in unexpected places. Shadows are often seen flicking across the walls, forms that vanish when approached, leaving behind an unmistakable sense of dread. One recurring phenomenon noted by multiple witnesses is the sensation of being touched by unseen hands, a brief but unmistakable brush across the arm, shoulder, or back, often accompanied by a sudden chill that cuts through the body. The auditory phenomena at Collinsworth Farm are particularly unsettling. Disembodied voices are frequently reported, sometimes whispering indecipherable phrases, other times calling out the names of the living as if attempting to communicate across the boundary between life and death. Investigators have captured faint recordings of low moans and groans, interspersed with what sound like frantic footsteps or the rustle of clothing dragged across the floor. Occasionally, the farm is said to emit more distinct sounds, screams, cries for help, or the heavy breathing of unseen presences. Many claim that the intensity of these sounds rises at night, particularly around midnight, a time when the restless spirits of the property are thought to be most active. Outside the farmhouse, the land itself seems imbued with the echoes of violence and tragedy. The overgrown fields and abandoned outbuildings create an unsettling landscape where shadows move unnaturally, and visitors often report sudden drops in temperature, inexplicable cold spots, or the sensation of being followed. The barns, sheds, and surrounding woods are frequently the site of fleeting glimpses of figures in the corner of vision, tall, dark silhouettes that vanish when directly observed. Some have claimed to see apparitions resembling the young women whose lives were lost here, wandering the fields silently, their expressions blank and eyes hollow, as if searching endlessly for something or someone. Locals maintain that the farm carries a malignant presence, a lingering residue of the horrors committed within its walls. Those who have lived nearby describe strange occurrences that extend beyond the boundaries of the farmhouse itself. Sudden unexplained noises at night, animals acting skittishly or fleeing the area without cause, and a sense of unease that grows as one approaches the property. Stories of paranormal investigators experiencing intense, almost physical pressure in certain rooms, along with inexplicable scratches, bruises, or feelings of being pushed, have only added to the farm's fearsome reputation. Despite the terrifying history, the Collinsworth Farm attracts a number of paranormal enthusiasts and thrill-seekers drawn by the chance to experience firsthand what many describe as an intense, almost suffocating presence. Investigators armed with cameras, audio equipment, and EMF detectors report capturing strange anomalies, fleeting shadows darting across hallways, glowing orbs drifting through the rooms, and recordings of voices or sounds that defy rational explanation. Many leave the property with stories of feeling suddenly ill, drained, or unnervingly watched, convinced that the farm's dark history continues to exert a powerful influence. Even for those who do not believe in the supernatural, the farm leaves a lasting impression. Its decayed structure, overgrown fields, and foreboding atmosphere make it clear that this is a place shaped by tragedy, where every creak of the floorboards and gust of wind carries the weight of past events. The Collinsworth Farm serves as a grim reminder that some locations are defined not only by their physical features, but also by the dark histories that cling to them, histories that resist erasure and continue to echo across time. Whether the phenomena experienced at the farm are the result of restless spirits, residual energy, or the collective imagination of those aware of its history, the impact is undeniable. Visitors leave with an understanding that the Collinsworth Farm is more than just an old abandoned property. It is a living monument to the tragedies that occurred within its boundaries, a place where the past refuses to rest, and a reminder that some horrors are so profound they leave an imprint on the very land itself. The disembodied voices, shadowy figures, and chilling sensations that haunt the farm are not merely stories, they are experiences that continue to draw the curious, the brave, and the unafraid to a place where the dark history of Fallsburg is never far from the surface. The Hill of Terror in Bonneville, Kentucky, has earned a reputation as one of the most chilling destinations in the state, drawing thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts from near and far. Once a sprawling farmstead, the property carries a dark history that predates its transformation into Kentucky's largest outdoor haunted attraction. Visitors have long reported an unsettling atmosphere, with eerie sounds echoing across the fields, strange lights flickering in the trees, and shadowy figures that vanish when approached. While many come for the thrill of the haunted attraction itself, there is a pervasive sense that the land itself is alive with something far more sinister, restless energy that refuses to be contained by staged scares and artificial frights. The farm that once stood on the Hill of Terror has roots stretching back generations. Local legends speak of the property as a place where hardship and tragedy often converged. Long before the haunted attraction was established, farmers and families who lived there reported unusual occurrences, tools disappearing from barns, strange footsteps in the fields at night, and the occasional distant wailing that seemed to have no earthly source. Some say these events were tied to untimely deaths and accidents that occurred on the farm over the decades. When the property was converted into the Hill of Terror, its dark history only added to the attraction's reputation. Today, visitors are drawn not only to the expertly designed mazes, actors in terrifying costumes, and dramatic special effects, but also to the real sense of unease that permeates the grounds. Many who have walked the haunted trails report experiences that go beyond the planned scares. Whispered voices, footsteps following from the darkness, and glimpses of figures standing still among the trees are commonly recounted by those brave enough to explore after hours. Some claim to see apparitions resembling past residents or figures from local lore, frozen in moments of pain or fear, their forms flickering like old photographs come to life. The hill itself is a natural stage for the eerie ambience. At night, the silhouette of gnarled trees against a moonlit sky creates shapes that seem almost human. The wind through the tall grass carries sounds that can be mistaken for cries, laughter, or the shuffle of unseen feet. Visitors often describe sudden temperature drops as they walk along the property, cold spots that seem to follow them or appear unexpectedly in the middle of the trails. These phenomena, combined with the carefully orchestrated frights of the attraction, leave many feeling as if the line between the staged haunt and reality has blurred. Certain areas of the property are reported to be particularly active. The old barn, for example, is a favorite location for ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike. Within its decaying walls, some have heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps pacing the loft above, or the rustle of hay, as though someone is moving unseen. Shadows dart across the wooden beams, often vanishing when observers turn to face them directly. On multiple occasions, investigators equipped with cameras and audio recorders have captured faint voices, moans, or whispers, even when the barn was empty and no actors were present. These recordings suggest a presence that exists independently of the attraction, a lingering echo of the farm's long and troubled history. The Hill of Terror's haunted trails stretch across fields and wooded areas, providing ample opportunity for both staged and inexplicable encounters. Visitors report that the wooded sections are often the most unnerving, where the darkness seems to thicken and silence dominates, broken only by the occasional crack of a branch or the flutter of leaves. Many recount seeing figures standing motionless just beyond the tree line, their faces obscured but their gaze unmistakable. Sometimes these figures appear for only a moment, sometimes for minutes, vanishing only when approached. The feeling of being watched, combined with the natural isolation of the hill, heightens the tension and amplifies the sense that the property is not merely haunted by imagination, but by entities that linger from another time. The farmhouse that once stood at the top of the hill has long since been removed. Yet some claim that its presence still lingers. Ghostly silhouettes are said to appear where windows and doorways once stood, and some visitors report hearing the sounds of domestic life, children laughing, doors opening and closing, footsteps moving across floors, echoing from empty spaces. Paranormal investigators suggest that these residual hauntings are imprints of the lives once lived there, energy left behind in the soil and timber, manifesting at times when the veil between past and present feels thin. Even during daylight, the Hill of Terror carries a certain weight. The land itself seems to resonate with the history of those who once labored there, and many visitors speak of a subtle unease that is hard to shake. The attraction's designers have cleverly incorporated the property's natural topography into their scares, but the combination of history, isolation, and lingering energy means that even the most mundane path can feel charged with tension. Hikers, local residents, and paranormal enthusiasts alike have all shared experiences of eerie sounds, fleeting shadows, or a sudden sense of being watched, indicating that the haunted reputation of the hill is not solely a product of its current incarnation as an attraction. For many, the Hill of Terror represents the intersection of entertainment and the supernatural, a place where thrill and fear meet something far older and more persistent. Whether drawn by the reputation of the attraction, the thrill of encountering the unknown, or a desire to connect with the spectral echoes of the past, visitors leave with stories that linger long after they have departed. Some swear that the property is home to restless spirits, wandering the hill and the surrounding woods, while others suggest that the intense history of tragedy and hardship continues to echo, manifesting in ways that both frighten and fascinate. Ultimately, the Hill of Terror is more than just a haunted attraction. It is a space where the past refuses to remain silent. From disembodied voices to shadowy figures, sudden chills to inexplicable sounds, the land seems alive with memory and energy. Visitors leave with the understanding that this is a place where the ordinary meets the supernatural, where every corner of the hill holds a story, and where the dark history of Bonneville continues to assert its presence long after the actors have gone home and the lights of the attraction have dimmed. The Hatcher family farm, nestled deep in the backwoods of eastern Kentucky, is a place where history and mystery intertwine, leaving a lingering sense of unease that has persisted for more than a century. The farm, isolated and surrounded by dense forests, was established long before 1917. But it was during that year that the property became associated with a series of macabre events that remained shrouded in secrecy. Local folklore and whispered stories suggest that something unimaginable occurred on the farm. A dark chapter whose full details were never recorded, yet whose consequences left a mark on the land itself. Even today, The farm is known not only for its isolation, but for the strange phenomena that have been reported by visitors, hunters, and curious explorers over the decades. In 1917, the Hatcher family farm was a working homestead, sustaining itself through crops and livestock, as many farms in the region did. The family who lived there was respected in the local community, though their seclusion fueled speculation. One night, something happened, something so terrible that few who knew the family ever spoke of it publicly. Some accounts suggest a violent confrontation, others hint at a ritualistic act or a hidden crime, but the details remain elusive. What is certain, however, is that the farm acquired an aura of dread that could not be explained by the mere passage of time. Locals who ventured near the property reported hearing unsettling noises, seeing fleeting figures among the trees, and encountering an inexplicable heaviness in the air. The farmhouse itself, a modest two-story structure, reflects the isolation and rugged simplicity of life in eastern Kentucky during the early 20th century. Over the years, it has fallen into disrepair, yet even in decay, it exerts an almost magnetic pull on those who approach. Paranormal enthusiasts and thrill-seekers describe a chilling sensation upon entering the property, as though the weight of the farm's history presses down upon the shoulders of visitors. Doors are said to creak open on their own, even after being securely latched, and windows sometimes rattle without any wind. Many who have spent time near the house report hearing faint whispers carried on the breeze, voices too soft to be understood, yet unmistakably human in tone. The surrounding woods only add to the farm's eerie reputation. Hikers and trespassers frequently describe sudden drops in temperature as they move through the area, chills that come without warning and cling to the body. Some claim to see lights moving among the trees at night, small, flickering glows that appear to follow them before vanishing entirely. Others report shadowy figures standing silently at the edge of the clearing, their forms human in shape, but dark and undefined, disappearing when approached. These accounts have persisted for generations, contributing to the farm's enduring reputation as a place where the boundary between the living and the spectral is thin. Many who investigate the Hatcher family farm cite a palpable sense of being watched, an invisible presence that follows them across the property. Some describe hearing footsteps behind them on the old uneven floors of the farmhouse, yet when they turn, no one is there. Others speak of a feeling of eyes upon them in the woods, a sensation so real it triggers instinctual fear. Even those who approach the farm during daylight hours report an inexplicable unease, a tightness in the chest, or a sudden sense of foreboding that intensifies as they draw closer to the old homestead. It is as if the farm itself retains the memory of the events of 1917, an energy that has never dissipated, lingering in the air and in the soil. Some paranormal investigators have attempted to document these phenomena, setting up cameras and audio equipment to capture evidence of the unexplained. Many have returned with recordings of faint, unintelligible whispers, shadowy movements caught on night vision cameras, and occasional orbs of light that seem to float without explanation. The farm has even been the subject of local ghost hunting tours, though organizers caution visitors about its history and the intensity of the experiences reported. Those who spend time on the property often describe a sense of sorrow, anger, or unrest, as if the land is saturated with emotions left behind by unseen inhabitants. Stories of ghostly apparitions on the Hatcher family farm are numerous. Some claim to see figures dressed in early 20th century clothing, wandering the fields as if searching for something long lost. Others describe fleeting glimpses of children running between the trees or the outline of a man standing at the edge of the forest, staring silently before disappearing. These sightings are often accompanied by strange sounds, low moans, the distant clang of metal, or the rustling of fabric in spaces where there should be nothing. Even animals seem affected. Dogs will bark or whine at empty spaces, and livestock is said to act skittishly in areas closest to the farmhouse. Despite the passage of more than a century, the Hatcher family farm retains its reputation as a place of mystery and unease. Its isolation, the tragic events of 1917, and the numerous reports of paranormal activity combine to make it one of eastern Kentucky's most chilling locations. Visitors, historians, and investigators alike leave with a sense that the farm is more than just a historical property. It's a vessel for the past, a place where human emotion, tragedy, and mystery converge to leave an indelible mark. For those who tread the worn paths of the farm or approach the crumbling farmhouse, the stories and legends are impossible to ignore. The Hatcher family farm is not merely a haunted site. It is a reminder that some histories are never fully laid to rest. The ghostly lights, shadowy figures, and inexplicable sounds are testament to the lingering presence of the past, a century-old echo of sorrow, fear, and unanswered questions. For anyone who visits, the farm offers more than a thrill. It is a direct connection to a moment in history that refuses to fade, a chilling glimpse of the unknown that continues to haunt the backwoods of eastern Kentucky. The Benton Haunted Farmhouse, situated on the Benton family farm in Walton, Kentucky, has long been a focal point for stories of the supernatural. Built in 1901, the farmhouse was a functional home for the Benton family, serving as a center of daily life and hard work in rural Kentucky. Over time, however, it has acquired a reputation far removed from its original purpose. Visitors and locals alike describe the property as imbued with an unsettling energy, a lingering presence that seems to watch, listen, and sometimes even interact with those who enter. Reports of disembodied voices, sudden cold spots, and shadowy figures have made the Benton Haunted Farmhouse one of the most talked about paranormal locations in the region. Its history, combined with the eerie atmosphere and the nearby small graveyard, creates a setting where the boundary between the living and the spectral feels thin and fragile. Those who approach the farmhouse often describe an immediate change in the air. The surroundings, once warm and inviting under the sun, take on a heavy, almost oppressive feel. Trees cast unnaturally long shadows, and even in daylight, the property carries a sense of being watched. Inside, the creaking floors and weathered walls seem to amplify every sound. A distant thud resonates like a footstep, and a door closing in one room echoes through the house as if carried on invisible currents. Many visitors report hearing whispering voices, soft and indecipherable, that seem to come from empty rooms. Some claim to hear names being called, or faint conversations that stop abruptly when anyone attempts to investigate. Certain areas of the Benton Haunted Farmhouse appear to be particularly active. The parlor, with its original hardwood floors and large fireplace, is often cited as a hotspot for paranormal activity. Objects left on tables or shelves are sometimes found in entirely different locations, suggesting the presence of unseen hands moving things around. Shadows have been reported flitting across the walls, sometimes taking the shape of human figures, only to vanish when directly observed. Visitors describe an almost tangible tension in this room, as if the energy left behind by past inhabitants continues to linger and interact with anyone who enters. The bedrooms of the farmhouse are equally unsettling. Cold spots frequently appear, sometimes localized to a particular corner or spreading across the room, chilling visitors despite warm outdoor temperatures. Many who spend time in these rooms describe the sensation of being touched or brushed by unseen forces. Light brushes along the arms or shoulders, sudden shifts in hair or clothing, or the feeling of eyes upon them when no one else is present. In the master bedroom, in particular, some have claimed to witness faint figures standing near the foot of the bed, their features indistinct but unmistakably human in shape. These figures are often described as fleeting and ghostly, vanishing when approached, leaving behind an eerie silence that only adds to the atmosphere of dread. The small graveyard near the Benton Haunted Farmhouse contributes significantly to the eerie reputation of the property. The headstones, weathered and leaning with age, are scattered across a patch of overgrown land, some dating back to the early 1800s. Locals speak of an otherworldly presence that seems to emanate from the graves themselves, a sense that the spirits interred there wander beyond their resting places. Visitors have reported hearing faint sobbing, distant laughter, or soft footsteps among the gravestones when the cemetery is otherwise empty. Shadows flit between the stones, appearing and disappearing with no visible source. And some claim that on certain nights, the names on the markers seem to glow faintly under the moonlight. The farmhouse's outbuildings, the barns, sheds, and storage spaces also have a history of strange occurrences. Doors that were securely locked open on their own, objects shift mysteriously, and distant sounds echo through the empty spaces. Those who explore these areas often report sudden drops in temperature, a chilling reminder that the Benton-haunted farmhouse's energy extends beyond the main house itself. Some have even claimed to see shadowy figures walking between the outbuildings, stopping abruptly when noticed, then disappearing as though they never existed. Paranormal investigators frequently visit the Benton-haunted farmhouse, drawn by its long-standing reputation and the consistency of the reported phenomena. Many have documented unusual occurrences, EMF spikes, unexplained sounds on audio recorders, and strange visual anomalies caught on camera. Some investigators suggest that the property is a convergence point for residual energy, where the emotions and events of past inhabitants have left an indelible imprint on the land. Others speculate that the spirits of those buried in the nearby graveyard may be tied to the farmhouse, lingering close to the home that was once central to their lives or deaths. Despite its unsettling nature, the Benton-haunted farmhouse has become a destination for those seeking to experience the unknown. Visitors often leave with a mix of fear and fascination, recounting stories of fleeting figures, cold spots, and whispers that linger long after they have departed. Even those who do not actively believe in the paranormal find the atmosphere of the farmhouse affecting an oppressive weight that seems to press on the mind and body, a reminder that the history of a place can leave a tangible mark on the present. The Benton-haunted farmhouse is more than just a relic of the past. It is a living testament to the persistence of memory, sorrow, and perhaps unresolved spirits. The combination of the farmhouse's architecture, the overgrown cemetery, and the history of the Benton family farm creates a unique environment where the boundary between life and the supernatural feels fragile. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper carried on the wind, and every shadow glimpsed from the corner of the eye serves as a reminder that the past is never truly gone. For those who walk its halls or explore its grounds, the Benton-haunted farmhouse offers a haunting, unforgettable experience, a place where history and mystery collide, and where the spirits of Walton's past continue to watch, listen, and wait. The town of Shelbyville, Kentucky, steeped in history since its founding in 1792, carries with it a wealth of stories that go beyond the ordinary. Among the quiet pastures and rolling farmland surrounding the town, numerous farms have earned reputations for paranormal activity, drawing the curious, the brave, and the thrill-seekers alike. These farms, many dating back over a century, seem to harbor an energy that is difficult to explain. Strange noises echoing through empty barns, ghostly figures glimpsed at the edges of fields, and an overarching sense of being watched. The combination of Shelbyville's long history and the persistent supernatural tales has established the area as one of the most haunted regions in Kentucky, where the echoes of the past appear to linger just out of sight. Shelbyville's haunted farms are scattered throughout the countryside, often hidden behind dense tree lines or accessible only by narrow dirt roads. Visitors frequently report feeling an unusual chill in the air as they approach, as though the land itself recognizes the presence of outsiders. The farm's old wooden structures, barns, silos, and farmhouses seem to carry an unspoken weight, their creaking boards and rusting hinges amplifying every sound. It is not uncommon for observers to hear the faint patter of footsteps where no one is present, or the low murmur of voices carried on the wind, whispering unintelligible words that raise the hair on the back of the neck. Some have described hearing the distant clatter of tools in barns long abandoned, or the sound of horses trotting across fields where no animals remain. On these properties, shadowy figures have been seen moving just beyond the tree line, often disappearing the instant they are directly observed. Sometimes the figures resemble people dressed in period clothing, as if the past is replaying itself in spectral form. Lights appear and vanish in barns and outbuildings, or glow faintly among the trees at night, prompting many to wonder whether these are manifestations of restless spirits or residual energy trapped in the landscape. Inside the farmhouses, the reports are just as unsettling. Residents and visitors alike have recounted experiences that defy conventional explanation. Doors open and close on their own, often slamming with sudden force, while objects, books, tools, or kitchen utensils move inexplicably from one place to another. In some homes, whispers can be heard emanating from empty rooms, and cold spots appear without reason, sometimes lingering in one corner or following a person as they move through the house. These phenomena have been described as subtle but persistent, leaving those who experience them with a creeping sense that the land and structures themselves retain memory, a residual echo of lives long gone. The farms, barns, and outbuildings are frequently the sites of particularly unnerving activity. Many of these structures have remained largely untouched for decades, their interiors dark, dusty, and filled with the remnants of past labor. Visitors have reported hearing the scraping of boots across wooden floors, or the sound of hay being disturbed, though no living being is present. Shadowy forms have been glimpsed darting among the support beams, and some have even described the sensation of being gently but unmistakably touched or guided, as if unseen hands are brushing against them. These experiences are often coupled with the sudden appearance of lights that have no source, floating or flickering with an intensity that suggests intelligence or awareness. Several farms in the Shelbyville area are bordered by small family cemeteries, a feature that only adds to their haunted reputations. The gravestones, many weathered and leaning with age, seem to radiate a silent energy, especially at night. Visitors have reported hearing the faint cries of children or low, mournful wails drifting across the fields, sometimes accompanied by fleeting glimpses of figures standing among the stones. Some witnesses describe seeing glowing orbs hovering near the graves, or shadows moving between markers in ways that defy explanation. These cemeteries serve as constant reminders of mortality and history, and they appear to anchor the paranormal activity that surrounds them. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Shelbyville's haunted farms, eager to document the phenomena that locals have described for generations. Many have captured unusual readings on EMF detectors, unexplained sounds on audio recorders, and faint visual anomalies on cameras. Some suggest that the combination of the farm's age, historical events, and geographical isolation creates a natural environment for residual energy to persist. Others speculate that the spirits themselves are tied to the land, lingering to protect, warn, or replay moments from their lives. Whatever the explanation, the consistency and intensity of the reports lend credence to the belief that something otherworldly inhabits these farms. Despite the fear that surrounds them, Shelbyville's haunted farms continue to attract visitors. People come seeking thrills, experiences, or simply a connection to the past that feels alive in the air, the soil, and the decaying buildings. Many leave with stories of fleeting shadows, unexplained noises, or sudden drops in temperature that seem impossible to explain. Even those who initially approach the farms with skepticism often admit to feeling an undeniable presence, a sensation that lingers long after they have departed. Shelbyville's haunted farms are more than just a collection of old buildings. They are living reminders of history, memory, and the unknown. Each structure, field, and graveyard holds layers of stories, both tragic and mysterious, that continue to ripple through time. Whether one encounters shadowy figures, disembodied voices, or simply the chilling sense of being watched, the experience is a stark reminder that the past is never truly gone. In Shelbyville, the land itself seems to remember, keeping alive the spirits and echoes of those who walked its soil long before, and perhaps continuing to interact with those who dare to venture there today. Fancy Farm, located in Graves County, Kentucky, is a place where history and the supernatural converge, creating an atmosphere that has long fascinated both locals and visitors. The area is home to one of the state's most infamous haunted locations, a farm whose history stretches back generations and whose reputation for unexplained phenomena has only grown over time. The land, dotted with old farmhouses, barns, and outbuildings, carries a lingering sense of the past, an energy that seems to interact with anyone who ventures near. Tales of ghostly apparitions, strange noises, and unexplainable events have made Fancy Farm a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts, thrill seekers, and those drawn to the mysteries of the unknown. The origins of the haunted reputation at Fancy Farm trace back to the early settlers of Graves County. Families who worked the land often spoke of unusual occurrences that defied rational explanation. Reports of objects moving on their own, livestock behaving erratically, and distant sounds echoing across the fields became common over time. Visitors would sometimes see figures walking along the edges of the property, shadowy and indistinct, vanishing when approached. The stories, passed down through generations, painted a picture of a farm where the living and the spirit world coexisted in uneasy proximity, and where the events of the past refused to be forgotten. Its wooden floors are warped with age, creaking under the lightest step, and its windows seem to capture shadows that linger long after the sun has set. Residents and investigators alike have reported disembodied voices echoing through the hallways, whispers that rise and fall without source, and the sudden sensation of being watched. Cold spots appear unpredictably, chilling those present even in the heat of summer, and doors sometimes open and close on their own, as if guided by invisible hands. The farmhouse carries a palpable energy, one that seems to react to the presence of the living, amplifying fear and anticipation in ways that cannot be attributed solely to imagination. Beyond the main house, the outbuildings on the farm are equally active with strange phenomena. Barns, sheds, and storage buildings have all been sites of ghostly encounters. Visitors report hearing footsteps across empty floors, the rustle of hay when no one is present, and the low murmur of voices in spaces that should otherwise be silent. Some describe seeing fleeting figures moving between the structures, tall and dark, with features impossible to distinguish, vanishing before anyone can approach. The natural isolation of these areas, surrounded by open fields and patches of dense woods, enhances the sense of unease, leaving witnesses with the impression that the farm itself is alive and aware. Fancy Farm's reputation is further intensified by the presence of old family cemeteries and burial plots scattered across the property. Weathered headstones and leaning markers hint at lives long past, many dating back to the early 1800s. It is in these spaces that some of the most unsettling experiences occur. Visitors often report seeing shadows moving among the graves, hearing whispers calling names long forgotten, and sensing presences that seem both sorrowful and watchful. On certain nights, faint lights have been observed hovering near the stones, orbs that drift silently and vanish when approached. These occurrences have cemented the farm's status as a place where history, memory, and the supernatural intersect in ways that defy explanation. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Fancy Farm, hoping to document the experiences that locals have described for decades. Many have returned with recordings of inexplicable sounds, low hums, whispers, and fleeting voices that seem to come from nowhere. Cameras capture anomalies in the shadows, occasional flashes of light, or figures that appear in frames for mere seconds. Some suggest that these phenomena may be residual energy, echoes of events that occurred on the property over the years, while others believe the spirits themselves remain tethered to the land, unwilling to leave. Whatever the explanation, the consistency of reports over time has reinforced the idea that Fancy Farm is not merely a collection of old buildings, but a living conduit for the unexplained. Visitors to Fancy Farm often recount experiences that blur the line between fear and fascination. Many describe feeling an overwhelming sense of being observed, the sensation that invisible eyes follow every movement. Some have reported hearing conversations in empty rooms, sudden drafts that chill the body, or fleeting touches that cannot be explained. Even the most skeptical leave with a heightened awareness, unable to dismiss the eerie energy that seems to permeate the fields, barns, and farmhouse. The combination of history, isolation, and the unexplainable has created an atmosphere in which the supernatural feels both present and inescapable. Over time, Fancy Farm has become more than a site of local lyrit, has evolved into a destination for those intrigued by the paranormal. Ghost hunters, history enthusiasts, and thrill seekers travel from across the state to explore the property, hoping to encounter or document its mysteries. Many come expecting staged frights, but find themselves confronted with something far more subtle and unsettling, an underlying, persistent presence that cannot be turned off or avoided. The land, the buildings, and the cemeteries all seem to work together to create an environment where the past is tangible, and the living cannot help but sense the echoes of those who came before. The legacy of Fancy Farm is one of history, mystery, and lingering spirits. Its fields, barns, and weathered farmhouse are repositories of countless untold stories, tragedies, and unexplained events that continue to resonate through time. Whether witnessing ghostly apparitions, hearing whispers on the wind, or feeling cold spots where no breeze should exist, visitors are confronted with the sense that this land remembers that it holds the memory of the past close and refuses to release it. Fancy Farm remains one of Kentucky's most compelling and chilling haunted locations. A place where history and the supernatural intertwine, and where the echoes of the past are never far from those who dare to explore it. Cody Road, winding through the countryside near Shelbyville, Kentucky, has long been a source of fascination and fear for locals and visitors alike. This narrow, tree-lined road stretches across fields and wooded areas, its history intertwined with tragedy, mystery, and a reputation for paranormal activity that has persisted for generations. For those who travel the road after dark, the sense of isolation is immediate. The surrounding fields stretch into darkness, and the dense canopy of trees can make even a bright evening feel shadowed. It is along this seemingly ordinary stretch of Kentucky roadway that countless tales of ghostly encounters and unexplained phenomena have emerged, earning Cody Road a place among the state's most haunted locations. One of the most enduring legends associated with Cody Road is that of the woman in white. Locals describe her as a tall, ethereal figure, often seen standing at the edge of the road or walking along the shoulder, her dress flowing as if caught in a perpetual breeze. Sightings vary. Sometimes she appears motionless, staring at passing vehicles with hollow, unreadable eyes. Other times, she seems to float, gliding silently above the ground. Those who have encountered her often report sudden feelings of dread, a chilling sensation that grips the chest, and sometimes a compulsion to slow down or stop entirely. Many drivers claim that as they approach her, she vanishes without warning, leaving nothing behind but an icy chill and the memory of her spectral presence. Cody Road's eerie reputation is not limited to the woman in white. Reports of other ghostly figures abound. Shadowy forms have been seen darting across fields, disappearing into the dense tree line, or standing silently by old fences and abandoned structures. Some witnesses describe figures resembling people from earlier eras, their clothing and posture suggesting moments frozen in time. Occasionally, these apparitions are accompanied by sounds, footsteps crunching along gravel, muffled cries, or faint voices calling names. In some cases, travelers have reported their vehicles inexplicably stalling, lights flickering, or radios emitting static and voices, events that vanish as quickly as they appear, leaving no clear explanation. The history of the area surrounding Cody Road contributes to the sense of unease. Records and oral accounts indicate that the road has witnessed tragedy over the years. Accidents, sudden deaths, and even violent confrontations have left their mark on the land. Locals speculate that these events have imprinted themselves on the area, leaving behind restless energy that manifests in ghostly sightings. Some stories suggest that the woman in white may be a spirit of someone who met an untimely death along the road, forever wandering in search of justice, closure, or simply to relive the final moments of her life. Other apparitions are thought to be echoes of people long gone, their presence amplified by the isolation and stillness of the rural landscape. Cody Road is particularly active at night. Travelers who pass through after sunset often describe a growing sense of tension as the darkness thickens. Shadows stretch unnaturally across the road, and the wind through the trees can carry sounds that seem almost human whispers, laughter, or the rustle of clothing. Some have reported seeing headlights illuminate figures standing in the middle of the road, only for the figures to vanish as the vehicle approaches. Others claim to have seen reflections of faces inside mirrors or windows, faces that vanish when looked at directly. These encounters leave an impression of both fear and fascination, drawing curious explorers to the road, despite tour, perhaps because of the danger that is implied. Paranormal investigators and enthusiasts have long been drawn to Cody Road, hoping to capture evidence of the reported phenomena. Cameras, audio recorders, and other equipment have picked up unexplained anomalies. Faint voices, footsteps on gravel with no source, and shadowy movements that appear briefly on video. Some have documented sudden drops in temperature, a chilling reminder that the presence on the road is not merely imagined. Local legends hold that the road itself acts as a conduit, a place where the veil between the living and the spiritual is thin, allowing the residual energy of past events to interact with the present. The road's surroundings only add to its haunted atmosphere. Old farmhouses, barns, and small cemeteries, the landscape often partially hidden by overgrown trees and fields. These locations are frequently cited by witnesses as focal points for paranormal activity. In particular, the cemeteries provide a connection to the past, their weathered stones standing as silent witnesses to lives long ended. Many travelers report feeling a weight in the air near these burial sites, a sense that the spirits present are aware of the living intruding on their domain. The combination of these historic locations with the open stretches of road creates a sense of unease that seems to permeate every mile of Cody Road. Despite, or perhaps because of its reputation, Cody Road continues to draw attention. Ghost hunters, thrill seekers, and curious travelers venture along its stretch to catch a glimpse of the supernatural or simply to experience the eerie atmosphere themselves. Some leave with little more than stories to tell, while others claim experiences that defy explanation. Sudden sensations of being touched, fleeting glimpses of figures and headlights, or hearing faint voices calling from the darkness. The road has become a place where fear, curiosity, and history converge, a tangible connection to the unknown. Cody Road near Shelbyville is more than just a rural route. It is a living repository of the area's stories, tragedies, and legends. The woman in white, shadowy figures, strange sounds, and chilling sensations create an environment where the past seems to bleed into the present. Whether these encounters are the product of restless spirits, residual energy, or the power of local folklore, the experiences reported by countless travelers have cemented Cody Road as one of Kentucky's most compelling haunted locations. For those who venture along it, the road offers more than a journey from one point to another. It is a passage into the unknown, a place where the history of the land lingers and the spirits of the past are never far from view. The Pope Lick Railroad Trestle, stretching across the wooded hills near Louisville, Kentucky, has long been a source of fascination, fear, and dark legend. Though it is an ordinary steel railroad bridge in design, the trestle has earned a notorious reputation as the site of one of Kentucky's most enduring urban legends, the Pope Lick Monster. This creature, described in local lore as a grotesque hybrid of man and goat, is said to stalk the area, using its unnatural abilities to lure unwitting trespassers to the trestle, often with deadly consequences. Over the decades, stories of the creature's hypnotic voice and deceptive mimicry have cemented the trestle as a place where thrill, danger, and the supernatural intersect, drawing paranormal enthusiasts, urban explorers, and the curious alike. The legend of the Pope Lick Monster has multiple variations, but most accounts describe a creature standing upright, with goat-like features, horns, and glowing eyes that pierce the darkness. According to local tales, it resides in the dense woods surrounding the trestle, hidden among the trees or beneath the structure itself. The creature is said to have the ability to mimic human voices, calling out to travelers in distress or to friends and family members, coaxing them closer to the trestle's dangerous heights. Once drawn onto the tracks, Those who fall prey to the monster's deception often meet tragic ends beneath the wheels of oncoming trains. Whether entirely true or exaggerated, through generations of storytelling, the legend has made the trestle synonymous with danger, fear, and the supernatural. The trestle itself is imposing and isolated, spanning a deep gorge with steep banks on either side. Its height and length make it a precarious place even for those who are familiar with its structure. Many who visit report a palpable sense of unease as they approach. The metal beams creak and groan under their own weight, amplified by the wind whistling through the framework. Shadows shift in the fading light, giving the impression of movement just out of sight. Some explorers claim that even in daylight, the air around the trestle carries a heaviness, a subtle tension that makes the hair on the back of the neck stand up. At night, the fear intensifies. The trestle becomes a place of deep, impenetrable darkness, where every sound is magnified and the imagination runs wild. Encounters with the Poplik monster are often described as brief and terrifying. Witnesses tell of hearing a voice calling their name, soft and pleading, seeming to come from just ahead. Others report a deep, guttural growl emanating from the trestle or the surrounding woods. Some claim to have seen a figure with distorted, goat-like features standing on the trestle itself, its eyes glowing in the shadows, watching silently before vanishing into the forest. The creature is often said to be cunning and patient, waiting until nightfall to emerge, or lurking in the misty dawn when the trestle is empty. These accounts, though anecdotal, have fueled fear and fascination, ensuring that the trestle remains a prominent location in Kentucky folklore. The trestle's danger is not purely a matter of legend. Its height and narrow structure have claimed lives over the years, independent of the Poplik monster stories. People attempting to cross it often slip or fall, and trains still use the tracks, adding a very real element of peril. Local authorities strongly discourage trespassing. Yet the combination of legend and thrill-seeking has drawn countless explorers. Many visitors report feeling an almost magnetic pull toward the trestle, a sense that the land itself compels them to approach, even as their instincts warn them to stay away. Paranormal enthusiasts argue that this could be evidence of residual energy or a haunted presence tied to the trestle, blending the tangible dangers with the supernatural in a unique and unsettling way. Over time, the trestle has become a hotspot for ghost hunters and urban legend enthusiasts. Investigators often document unusual sounds, sudden temperature drops, and fleeting visual anomalies that cannot be easily explained. Cameras sometimes capture strange shadows among the beams, while audio recorders pick up unexplained whispers or calls. Some suggest that the area around the trestle is a nexus of energy, where human fear and tragedy have created an environment conducive to supernatural phenomena. Others argue that the legend itself has amplified the collective consciousness, making every creak, rustle, and shadow a potential encounter with the unknown. The surrounding woods add another layer of mystery, dense and twisting. They obscure sightlines and amplify sound, creating the perfect conditions for eerie experiences. Visitors have reported the sensation of being followed, sudden rustling among the leaves, and glimpses of movement that disappear when investigated. Some claim to hear voices calling from beyond the tree line, sometimes sounding like children or animals, other times disturbingly human and unfamiliar. These experiences reinforce the legend, making the area feel alive with presence and danger. Even those who do not believe in the Poplik monster often feel the trestle's unsettling influence. Its history of accidents, the tragic stories tied to those who have fallen, and the eerie environment combine to create a location charged with tension. The imagination, fed by local folklore, amplifies every creak, gust of wind, and shadow. The trestle has become more than a bridge. It is a place where history, fear, and legend converge, where the line between fact and fiction is blurred, and where visitors are confronted with both the very real danger of the structure and the intangible menace of the legend it has inspired. Ultimately, the Poplik Railroad trestle endures as a symbol of mystery and menace. Its metal beams and wooded surroundings provide a stage for one of Kentucky's most enduring urban legends, a story that blends human fear, tragedy, and imagination. Whether the Pope Lick monster is a supernatural entity, a cautionary tale, or a product of collective lore, the trestle continues to capture the attention and curiosity of those drawn to the unknown. For anyone who dares to approach it, the bridge is more than a crossing. It is a threshold into a world where danger, history, and the unexplained intersect, leaving an unforgettable impression on all who walk its shadowed path. Liberty Hall, located in the heart of Frankfort, Kentucky, is a mansion steeped in history, tragedy, and mystery. Built in 1796 by Senator John Brown, the home stands as one of the state's most enduring examples of Georgian architecture, with elegant columns, sweeping staircases, and meticulously preserved rooms that reflect the life and times of its early inhabitants. Yet, beyond its historical significance, Liberty Hall has earned a reputation for being one of Kentucky's most haunted homes. Visitors, historians, and paranormal investigators alike have long reported strange occurrences, from fleeting shadows to unexplained sounds, making the mansion a magnet for those drawn to the eerie and the unexplained. Among the most famous spirits said to linger in Liberty Hall is Margaret Varick, known locally as the Gray Lady. Margaret's story is one of sorrow and determination. In 1805, she undertook a journey of more than 800 miles to attend a funeral, a grueling trip in an era when travel was slow and dangerous. Shortly after arriving, she died under mysterious circumstances, leaving her spirit trapped in the mansion she had once visited. Witnesses claimed to see her ghostly figure wandering the halls, always dressed in gray, gliding silently from room to room, doors open and close in her presence without explanation, and footsteps echo along the polished floors even when no one is visible. Many visitors describe the sensation of being watched, an unseen awareness that seems to follow them as they explore the home. Margaret is not the only spectral resident of Liberty Hall. Another persistent presence is said to be a Spanish opera singer who vanished in 1805. Accounts suggest that she was visiting Frankfurt for a performance, but she never returned home. Since then, visitors have reported hearing distant music, faint arias drifting through the hallways, sometimes accompanied by a chilling sense of sadness. Those who hear the music often report a sudden drop in temperature, as if the air itself carries the sorrow of her vanished life. The combination of sound and chill creates an atmosphere that many describe as both beautiful and unsettling, a haunting melody that lingers long after the visitors have left. Another frequent apparition is that of a soldier in uniform, a forlorn figure often seen standing silently near the windows or at the top of the grand staircase. His presence is subtle yet unnerving, a silent sentinel watching over the mansion. Some who have encountered him describe a feeling of sadness, as though he remains tied to unfinished business or unfulfilled duty. Others report that he disappears when approached, leaving only the faint scent of old leather or gunpowder in his wake. The soldier's appearance is often accompanied by an oppressive weight in the room, a sensation of history pressing down, reminding visitors that the mansion is more than just a building. It is a repository of the lives, emotions, and mysteries of those who came before. The interior of Liberty Hall amplifies the sense of the supernatural. Its original woodwork, staircases, and doors create a labyrinthine environment where shadows play tricks on the eyes, and every creak of the floorboards seems imbued with meaning. Visitors have reported objects moving on their own, candles extinguishing without cause, and sudden drafts that cannot be explained. Even in daylight, the mansion can feel heavy with unseen presence, a weight that grows in the silence of its empty rooms. Certain areas, like the parlor and the upstairs bedrooms, are noted as particularly active. The parlor, with its grand fireplace and polished floors, often hosts sightings of the Gray Lady, while the bedrooms are said to carry the faint strains of music from the lost opera singer. Outside, Liberty Hall's gardens and grounds add to the mansion's haunting ambience. Ancient trees cast long shadows across the manicured lawns, and in the quiet hours, the wind carries whispers that some claim are voices from the past. At night, the mansion appears to watch silently, windows glowing faintly in the moonlight, as if reflecting the lingering spirits within. The combination of architectural beauty, historical significance, and supernatural presence makes Liberty Hall a unique site where the line between history and hauntings becomes blurred. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Liberty Hall, documenting unusual occurrences and seeking evidence of its spectral residence. EMF readings, unexplained sounds, and visual anomalies on cameras have all been reported. Some investigators suggest that the spirits are residual energy, echoes of the past imprinted on the mansion, while others believe the entities remain conscious, interacting with visitors in subtle yet undeniable ways. Regardless of explanation, the consistency of reports over the years reinforces Liberty Hall's reputation as a site of persistent supernatural activity. Visitors to Liberty Hall often describe their experiences as a mix of fascination and unease. The combination of elegant architecture, historical artifacts, and unexplained phenomena creates an environment where curiosity and fear coexist. Many leave with stories of glimpsed figures in the corner of a room, doors that close without touch, or the faint strains of music echoing from empty spaces. Others recount the sensation of being gently followed, a subtle pressure or awareness that cannot be seen but is deeply felt. These experiences make Liberty Hall not just a historical attraction, but a living, breathing testament to the mysteries of the past. Ultimately, Liberty Hall stands as a bridge between history and the supernatural. The Gray Lady, the vanished opera singer, and the forlorn soldier are more than just ghost stories. They are the embodiment of the mansion's rich past and the lingering emotions of those who once walked its halls. For visitors, the mansion offers more than a glimpse into 18th and 19th century life. It provides an encounter with the unseen, a connection to history that is both tangible and ethereal. Liberty Hall remains one of Kentucky's most fascinating haunted homes, a place where the spirits of the past continue to wander, silently observing, waiting, and reminding all who enter that some stories never truly end. Gaines Tavern, located in the quiet town of Walton, Kentucky, is a historic building that has stood for well over a century, witnessing the ebb and flow of life through the generations. Originally established as a resting place for travelers and a hub of local activity, the tavern was a central fixture in the community, offering food, lodging, and a place for social gatherings. Its long history, however, is shadowed by tales of unexplained occurrences, strange noises, and ghostly sightings, making Gaines Tavern one of the most talked about haunted locations in Kentucky. Visitors and paranormal investigators alike have reported experiences that defy explanation, and the tavern's reputation for supernatural activity has only grown over the years. From the outside, Gaines Tavern appears unassuming, a modest structure with weathered wood and brickwork that shows the patina of age. Yet, stepping through its doors is like entering a space where time has layered itself over itself, where echoes of the past linger and interact with the present. Those who enter often report an immediate shift in atmosphere, heavy, almost tangible energy that fills the rooms. The air seems to carry the faint scent of history, aged wood, old spirits, and the lingering aroma of long-extinguished hearth fires. Even in the broad light of day, many describe feeling the sensation of being observed, an invisible presence moving through the tavern alongside them. The tavern's interior is a labyrinth of rooms and hallways that have remained largely unchanged over the decades. Visitors often speak of hearing footsteps echoing across the floors, footsteps that have no discernible source. Chairs move, doors open and close without cause, and objects sometimes disappear from one room, only to reappear in another. Some have reported the sound of distant voices, murmuring conversations, or laughter that seems to come from the corners of the building, only to vanish the moment one attempts to locate the source. The cumulative effect of these experiences is an atmosphere that is both unsettling and mesmerizing, drawing visitors deeper into the tavern's mysteries. Among the most frequently reported apparitions is the figure of a man in old-fashioned attire, sometimes described as a tavern keeper from a bygone era. Witnesses have seen him standing silently near the bar, polishing glasses or moving about the room, only to disappear when approached. Another common sighting involves a woman dressed in period clothing, gliding silently along the hallways or standing near the stairwell. Many who encounter her report a sudden chill, a sense of melancholy, and the feeling that she is trying to communicate something unspoken. The apparitions are rarely aggressive. Instead, they seem to be imprints of the tavern's history, lingering reminders of the lives that once filled its rooms. Strange sounds are a hallmark of Gaines Tavern. From the soft creaking of floorboards to the sudden slam of doors, auditory phenomena have been reported consistently over the years. Some visitors describe hearing the clinking of glasses or the distant roar of a fire, even when no one else is present. Other sounds are more unsettling: whispers in empty rooms, footsteps following individuals as they walk through hallways, or the inexplicable movement of furniture. Investigators have often noted that these occurrences are concentrated in areas of the tavern that were central to social activity, suggesting a connection between human presence, emotion, and residual energy left behind in the building. Paranormal investigations at Gaines Tavern have produced compelling, if sometimes ambiguous, evidence. Audio recorders have captured low murmurs and disembodied voices. EMF detectors have indicated unexplained spikes in certain rooms, and cameras have occasionally recorded shadowy figures that vanish upon review. Some researchers suggest that the tavern's long history, combined with its role as a social hub in the 19th and early 20th centuries, has created an environment where residual energy remains embedded in the structure. Others propose that the spirits present are conscious, interacting with those who enter, manifesting subtly to be noticed without direct confrontation. Regardless of the interpretation, the consistency of these reports reinforces Gaines Tavern's status as a site of paranormal significance. The tavern's atmosphere is amplified by its furnishings and architectural details. Original woodwork, heavy tables, and worn staircases contribute to a sense of continuity between past and present. Visitors report feeling drawn to certain spots to bar, the stairwell, or the corners of specific rooms where the presence of unseen entities feels strongest. Candles and lanterns, even when unlit, seem to flicker or cast shadows that do not align with the source of light. Floors sometimes groan in response to invisible steps, and the sense of being followed or watched persists throughout the building. These subtle yet persistent experiences create an immersive environment where the mundane and the supernatural coexist uneasily. Outside, the tavern's surroundings further add to the haunted ambience. The property retains traces of its historic layout, with paths, old fences, and surrounding fields that seem to whisper with the memories of those who once passed through. At night, the building appears to watch silently, its darkened windows reflecting the faint light of the moon. Many who have lingered on the grounds report hearing footsteps crunching on gravel, faint voices carried on the wind, or glimpses of figures moving between trees. These experiences often reinforce the belief that the tavern is a locus of lingering spirits, an intersection of past and present where history has not yet released its hold. For visitors and investigators alike, Gaines Tavern offers more than just stories of hauntings. It provides a tangible connection to the lives and experiences of those who once frequented the establishment. Each creak, whisper, or fleeting shadow is a reminder that the building is more than its walls and floors. It is a vessel of memory, emotion, and the unexplained. Whether one encounters the apparitions, hears mysterious sounds, or simply feels the weight of history, Gaines Tavern remains a place where the past and the supernatural coexist, offering both fascination and unease to all who enter its doors. The haunted farmhouse, located in Walton, Kentucky, is a site where history and the supernatural seem to converge, creating an atmosphere that has long captivated locals and visitors alike. Built in 1901, the farmhouse has stood for over a century, witnessing the lives, struggles, and stories of those who have called it home. Its weathered exterior, sagging porches, and time-worn windows give the first hint of the mysteries contained within. Over the decades, the farmhouse has developed a reputation as one of Kentucky's most haunted locations, drawing the attention of paranormal investigators, thrill seekers, and those simply intrigued by the eerie and unexplained. The farmhouse's reputation is deeply rooted in the experiences of those who have lived there or visited. Residents report strange occurrences that defy logic or explanation. Doors open and close on their own. Footsteps echo along the floors when no one is present. And objects occasionally move from one room to another without explanation. Visitors often describe sudden chills, cold spots in otherwise warm rooms, and a sensation of being watched even when alone. Many attribute these phenomena to lingering spirits, remnants of the farmhouse's past that refuse to rest quietly, their presence echoing through time. Among the most commonly reported manifestations are shadowy figures that appear in hallways, stairwells, and rooms throughout the house. These figures are often indistinct, flickering at the edges of vision or vanishing when looked at directly. Some witnesses describe them as tall and humanoid, moving silently across the rooms, while others see smaller shapes that seem almost childlike in their proportions. Encounters with these apparitions are rarely aggressive, but they evoke a sense of unease and a deep, instinctual fear, a reminder that the farmhouse harbors secrets that cannot be explained by ordinary means. The farmhouse is particularly active at night. As darkness falls, the eerie atmosphere intensifies, and the sounds of the house take on a life of their own. Floorboards creak under invisible weight, doors groan as if pushed by unseen hands, and the faint whisper of voices drifts through the halls. Some visitors report hearing names being called, soft murmurs that seem close enough to touch, or faint laughter echoing from empty rooms. These auditory experiences often coincide with other phenomena, such as flickering lights, sudden drafts, or cold spots, suggesting that the house's energy is both pervasive and unpredictable. A small graveyard nearby adds a chilling dimension to the farmhouse's haunted reputation. Weathered headstones, some leaning and cracked with age, mark the resting places of those long past. Visitors report seeing shadows moving among the stones, lights that flicker in the darkness, or misty figures gliding silently across the grounds. On quiet nights, some have heard the sound of footsteps on gravel or soil, moving toward the house, only to vanish before anyone can investigate. The proximity of the graveyard to the farmhouse suggests a connection between the living and the dead, an interaction that intensifies the eerie energy surrounding the property. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to the haunted farmhouse, documenting experiences with a variety of equipment. Cameras have captured anomalies, fleeting shadows, unexplained light streaks, and figures that appear only in the footage. Audio recorders often pick up low murmurs, distant cries, or the unmistakable sound of footsteps in empty rooms. EMF detectors sometimes spike inexplicably, indicating a presence that cannot be seen or explained by natural causes. Many investigators suggest that the farmhouse serves as a focal point for residual energy, with past events, emotions, and tragedies leaving imprints that manifest in the present. Others believe that conscious spirits remain, interacting with visitors in subtle ways to make their presence known. The farmhouse's history contributes to its haunted character. Over its more than a century of existence, it has witnessed countless events, births, deaths, celebrations, and tragedies that have left their mark on the building and the surrounding land. Some stories speak of family members who passed away unexpectedly, while others recount accidents or unexplained occurrences that seemed to imprint themselves on the house. The architecture itself, with long hallways, tight staircases, and hidden corners, creates an environment where shadows naturally gather and sounds echo in unpredictable ways, amplifying the sense of the supernatural. Visitors often describe experiences that blur the line between fear and fascination. Some report being gently touched by unseen hands, feeling a presence standing near them, or sensing eyes following their every move. Others recount glimpses of figures watching silently from windows, fleeting shadows in mirrors, or doors that seem to move with a mind of their own. Even those skeptical of the paranormal often leave the farmhouse with a heightened awareness of the environment, unable to shake the feeling that the house remembers and that its past is not entirely at rest. The haunted farmhouse is more than a relic of history. It is a living connection to the past, a place where memory, emotion, and the unexplained converge. Its creaking floors, shadowed rooms, and cold, empty halls hold stories that are both captivating and unsettling. The small graveyard nearby reminds visitors that life and death coexist here, and that the spirits of the past are never far from those who walk the property. For those who explore the farmhouse, the experience is not merely one of fright, it is a journey into a place where time, history, and the supernatural intermingle, leaving an indelible impression on all who enter. The haunted farmhouse in Walton, Kentucky, stands as a testament to the mysteries that can inhabit even the most unassuming structures. Its reports of apparitions, disembodied voices, and cold spots, combined with the presence of the graveyard, create an environment thick with history and the unexplained. The property continues to attract those intrigued by the paranormal, offering encounters that are as fascinating as they are unnerving. In every shadow, every creaking floorboard, and every flicker of unseen movement, the haunted farmhouse reminds visitors that the past never truly leaves, and some spirits remain forever tethered to the world of the living. Sandyland Acres, located in the quiet outskirts of Petersburg, Kentucky, is a place where history, folklore, and the supernatural converge, creating an environment both thrilling and unsettling. While it is widely known today for its seasonal haunted hayrides and family-oriented attractions, the land beneath Sandyland Acres carries stories that predate its modern use. Over the years, the area has developed a reputation for paranormal activity, with visitors reporting ghostly apparitions, unexplained sounds, and strange phenomena that defy rational explanation. These experiences have cemented Sandyland Acres as one of Kentucky's most intriguing destinations for those drawn to the mysterious and the eerie. The haunted hayride, which has become the centerpiece of Sandyland Acres' reputation, takes guests through fields, wooded areas, and historically significant spots that have been tied to stories of past tragedies and unexplained events. The ride is designed to thrill, with actors, props, and controlled scares. But many visitors report experiences that go beyond the planned frights. Some describe fleeting shadows darting between trees, shapes that vanish when approached, or glowing orbs that appear along the path. Others recount the sensation of being watched, a chilling awareness that something unseen is moving alongside the hayride. These encounters add a layer of authenticity to the attraction, blurring the line between entertainment and the unexplained. Sandyland Acres' history contributes to its eerie reputation. The land has long been part of the Petersburg community, with records suggesting it has witnessed accidents, sudden deaths, and other incidents that may have left a lingering energy behind. Locals speak of the area being unsettled, particularly in the more isolated sections where the hayride ventures. The combination of open fields, dense woods, and old structures creates an environment ripe for the imagination and for experiences that cannot easily be explained. Some believe the land itself has retained the memory of its past, with residual energy manifesting as ghostly phenomena for those who traverse it. Visitors often report seeing figures in the distance, sometimes humanoid and sometimes less defined, hovering near old buildings, barns, or tree lines. These apparitions are described as both fleeting and unsettling, appearing just long enough to be noticed, then disappearing as if swallowed by the shadows. Some sightings include children playing in empty fields, figures dressed in outdated clothing, or even spectral farm animals moving silently across the land. While skeptics may attribute these visions to imagination or the mind's response to fear, the consistency of reports over the years suggests that something beyond ordinary perception may be at work. Sound is another common element of the supernatural experiences at Sandyland Acres. Guests often hear footsteps on gravel paths where no one walks, whispers drifting through the trees, or faint cries that seem to carry across the open fields. Doors and windows creak and rattle even on windless nights, while distant, unidentifiable noises echo from barns and abandoned structures. Some have reported hearing laughter, conversations, or the sounds of tools in motion when no one is present. These auditory experiences, combined with the visual phenomena, create an immersive atmosphere that many describe as both haunting and mesmerizing. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Sandyland Acres, hoping to document the unexplained. Using cameras, audio recorders, and EMF detectors, they have recorded anomalies that cannot be easily dismissed. Flickering lights, shadowy figures on video, and unexplained voices captured in audio recordings are just a few examples. Some investigators suggest that the land itself serves as a conduit for spiritual activity. Its history and emotional energy creating a space where the boundaries between the living and the supernatural are thin. Others propose that conscious entities may linger, interacting with visitors in subtle ways to announce their presence. The area's layout and natural features further contribute to its eerie reputation. Fields bordered by thick woods, hidden hollows, and uneven terrain create an environment where shadows gather and sounds carry unpredictably. Certain locations, like old barns, weathered fences, and overgrown paths, are reported to be hotspots for activity. Visitors to these areas describe sudden drops in temperature, the sensation of being touched by unseen hands, and an overwhelming feeling of being observed. These experiences reinforce the idea that Sandyland Acres is more than a haunted attraction. It is a place where the past refuses to remain hidden. Many who visit Sandyland Acres report a blend of fear and fascination. Some experience fleeting encounters, such as glimpses of figures disappearing into the trees or cold gusts of air brushing against them, while others recount more intense phenomena, like hearing their names called from empty fields or seeing lights moving across the woods with no visible source. Even those who come for the thrill of a haunted hayride often leave with stories of moments that seem impossibly real. Instances where the line between performance and the paranormal becomes indistinguishable. The combination of history, natural surroundings, and supernatural reports makes Sandyland Acres a unique destination. Its attractions provide an engaging experience, but the layers of reported phenomena give it a sense of authenticity that sets it apart from ordinary haunted sites. The land itself seems alive with memory, its energy lingering in ways that evoke both curiosity and unease. Visitors often leave the property with the feeling that they have glimpsed something beyond the ordinary, a connection to the unknown that remains long after they have departed. Ultimately, Sandyland Acres is more than just a haunted hayride or a tourist attraction. It is a place where history, emotion, and the unexplained intersect. The ghostly apparitions, mysterious sounds, and strange sensations reported by countless visitors create an environment where the ordinary and the supernatural coexist. Whether these phenomena are the result of lingering energy, conscious spirits, or simply the power of suggestion, Sandyland Acres continues to captivate those who are drawn to the paranormal. For anyone who ventures onto the property, the experience is not merely entertainment. It is an encounter with a land that remembers, a place where the past lives on, and where the boundary between the seen and unseen is never quite clear. Fallsburg Fearplex, situated in the heart of Fallsburg, Kentucky, has earned a reputation as one of the most unnerving haunted attractions in the state. Though it is known today as a seasonal destination for thrill seekers, the Fearplex is built on land long steeped in mystery and reported supernatural activity. Visitors have frequently described experiences that go far beyond the staged frights of actors and props, claiming to witness ghostly figures, hear unexplained noises, and feel an overwhelming sense of being watched. The combination of the Fearplex's dark history and its intentionally eerie design has made it a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts and those curious about the unknown. The Fearplex occupies a sprawling property that includes wooded areas, abandoned structures, and winding paths. Its creators designed it to capitalize on suspense and fear, but the location itself seems to have a life of its own. Guests often describe the air as heavy, charged with a presence that cannot be fully explained. Even during daytime visits, many report an unsettling sensation, as if the land carries memories of past events, and the sounds of the Fearplex squeaking doors, distant laughter, and sudden thumps sometimes blur the line between attraction effects and genuine paranormal activity. Among the most frequently reported experiences at Fallsburg Fearplex are sightings of shadowy figures, These shapes are rarely clear, often seen at the periphery of vision or fleetingly between trees and abandoned buildings. Some witnesses describe humanoid forms that seem to watch silently before vanishing when approached, while others report smaller, childlike figures darting across fields and disappearing into the darkness. These encounters are often accompanied by cold spots, a sudden drop in temperature that leaves visitors shivering despite the season. Many who witness these phenomena speak of a deep, instinctual fear, a sense that the land itself is alive with an unseen presence. Unexplained sounds are a constant element of the Fearplex's haunted reputation. Guests frequently report hearing footsteps behind them when no one is near, soft whispers carried on the wind, or the distant creaking of doors and windows. Some describe faint crying or murmured conversations that seem impossibly close, yet vanish when investigated. Others have heard loud bangs, doors slamming, or objects moving without contact, often in areas of the property that appear abandoned or unused. These auditory phenomena, combined with the visual experiences, create an environment that is both immersive and deeply unsettling, blurring the line between staged scares and genuine hauntings. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Fallsburg Fearplex, intrigued by the reports of activity beyond the attraction's theatrical elements. Many have set up cameras, audio recorders, and EMF detectors throughout the property. Over the years, these investigations have captured anomalies, shadowy figures on video, unexplained sounds, and unusual electromagnetic readings. Some researchers believe the land itself holds residual energy, echoes of past events, and emotions that manifest as ghostly phenomena. Others suggest the presence of conscious entities, spirits that interact subtly with visitors, sometimes guiding or warning them, and sometimes simply observing. Regardless of the explanation, the consistency of reported experiences strengthens the Fearplex's reputation as a site of paranormal significance. The design of the Fearplex itself amplifies the sense of unease. Narrow pathways wind through dense woods, creating pockets of darkness and making it difficult to see what lies ahead. Abandoned cabins and barns are scattered across the property, each with its own history and atmosphere. The creators intentionally use shadows, sudden noises, and limited lighting to heighten tension, but many visitors report that even when the staged elements are removed or ignored, a genuine feeling of presence remains. The layout of the land, combined with its history, provides a natural stage for both imagination and the unexplained, making every corner of the Fearplex a potential site for paranormal encounters. Local lore suggests that the land occupied by the Fearplex has long been associated with mysterious events. Stories of disappearances, tragic accidents, and unexplained phenomena have circulated in Fallsburg for generations. While some may be exaggerated or altered over time, they contribute to the overall sense that this land is unsettled. Visitors often sense a continuity of presence, a feeling that the spirits of the past still linger and interact with the living. Even those who come for a casual walk or a simple scare often leave with stories that hint at encounters beyond ordinary. Experience glimpses of shadows, fleeting sounds, and an overall sensation that the Fearplex is more than just an attraction. Many who visit Fallsburg Fearplex describe experiences that leave a lasting impression. Some recount seeing figures watching silently from a distance, only to disappear when approached. Others have felt cold hands brush against them, or sensed invisible eyes following their movements. Many report sudden chills, whispers that seem to call their names, or objects moving without explanation. The cumulative effect of these experiences is a mix of fascination and apprehension, a recognition that the Fearplex is not merely a place of entertainment, but a site where the boundary between the known and the unknown is permeable. Ultimately, Fallsburg Fearplex stands as a unique intersection of history, imagination, and the unexplained, while it functions as a haunted attraction designed to thrill and entertain. The reports of ghostly figures, unexplained sounds, and chilling sensations suggest that the property itself carries a life beyond its staged elements. Whether these occurrences are the result of lingering energy, conscious spirits, or the power of collective fear, the Fearplex continues to captivate visitors. For those who walk its paths, explore its buildings, and ride through its winding trails. The experience is more than a simple scare. It is an encounter with a land that remembers, a place where the past continues to whisper, and where the supernatural feels undeniably present. The haunted corn maze at Buck Meadow Farms, located in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, is widely known for its intricate twists, towering stalks, and chilling Halloween atmosphere. Yet, beyond the carefully designed scares and theatrical effects, the maze has developed a reputation for genuinely unexplained phenomena. Over the years, visitors have reported ghostly apparitions, strange noises, and feelings of being watched, transforming what is meant to be an adrenaline-filled attraction into a place where the line between entertainment and the supernatural becomes blurred. Buck Meadow Farms' haunted corn maze has become a destination not just for thrill-seekers, but also for those intrigued by the paranormal, eager to explore a place where history, mystery, and fear intertwine. The maze is vast, stretching over acres of dense cornfields, with paths designed to confuse and thrill. As night falls, the tall cornstalks cast long, shifting shadows under strategically placed lights, creating an environment where the imagination naturally runs wild. However, many visitors claim that what they experience goes beyond simple imagination. Some report seeing human-like figures moving among the stalks, shadows that dart quickly from one path to another, and glimpses of shapes that vanish when approached. These fleeting sightings are often accompanied by an unsettling feeling that someone or something is silently observing, a presence that seems both close and untouchable. Sounds play a significant role in the haunted corn maze's reputation for paranormal activity. Guests often hear footsteps behind them on paths that are otherwise empty, distant voices calling their names, or whispers carried on the wind that cannot be attributed to other visitors. Others report hearing the rustling of corn where no wind is blowing, or the soft, sorrowful cry of a child drifting through the maze. While the maze is designed with sound effects to startle and thrill, many claim that these noises cannot be explained by the planned attractions. The combination of visual and auditory phenomena contributes to an atmosphere that is unnerving and immersive, and one that has left more than a few visitors convinced that the maze is home to spirits. Many of the reported sightings involve figures in old-fashioned or indistinct clothing, sometimes appearing humanoid, but slightly distorted or translucent. Witnesses have described seeing people who seem out of place, standing silently in the paths, or walking just out of reach, only to disappear when approached. Some encounter fleeting shadows that move too quickly to be human, while others claim to see small, childlike figures darting between the stalks. Encounters like these often leave a lingering sense of unease, a feeling that the maze is not simply a collection of cornfields, but a space where the past has left an imprint that continues to interact with the present. Cold spots are another common element reported by visitors. As participants navigate the maze, they occasionally experience sudden drops in temperature, sometimes accompanied by goosebumps or an eerie chill that travels along the spine. These cold spots often occur in the same locations where apparitions or unusual sounds have been reported, reinforcing the idea that the phenomenon is localized and not random. Many visitors describe the sensation as more than a physical reaction, a deep, instinctual recognition that something unseen is nearby. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Buck Meadow Farms during the Halloween season, documenting experiences with cameras, audio recorders, and EMF detectors. Over time, they have captured strange occurrences, unexplained lights between the corn rows, shadowy figures caught on video, and unusual electromagnetic readings. Audio equipment has picked up soft voices and whispers that seem impossible to explain, often repeating words or phrases that are not part of the maze's staged effects. While skeptics attribute much of this to suggestion, fear, and the power of imagination in a highly charged environment, the consistency and specificity of these reports make the haunted corn maze a unique subject for study. The layout of the maze itself contributes to the eerie atmosphere. Long, narrow paths create a sense of isolation even when other visitors are nearby, and the density of the corn limits visibility, heightening tension and making it easy for shadows to appear alive. Abandoned scarecrow props, old farm equipment, and weathered fencing add to the environment, creating spaces where imagination and the unexplained converge. Many visitors report feeling disoriented, as though time and space have shifted, or that the maze extends further than it physically should. These disorienting experiences intensify the sense of presence, making the paranormal reports more compelling and memorable. Some local lore suggests that the land occupied by the maze has long been associated with mysterious occurrences. Stories of accidents, sudden deaths, and unexplained events have circulated among the Petersburg and Lawrenceburg communities for decades, leading many to believe that the haunted corn maze is more than a seasonal attraction. It is a place where the past refuses to remain silent, leaving traces of energy and memory that visitors may encounter firsthand. Visitors often leave the maze with stories that range from fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures to full-blown auditory experiences. Some describe the sensation of being followed by unseen eyes, feeling invisible hands brush against them, or encountering doors and gates that seem to move or close on their own. Others recall hearing whispered warnings or calls for help, as if the maze itself is alive with echoes from previous generations. These experiences, whether interpreted as supernatural or as a product of fear and imagination, contribute to the haunted corn maze's enduring reputation as a place of mystery. Ultimately, the haunted corn maze at Buckmeadow Farms offers more than thrills and entertainment. It is a space where history, fear, and the unexplained intersect, creating an experience that leaves a lasting impression on those who enter. The ghostly apparitions, sudden noises, and chilling sensations reported by countless visitors give the maze a sense of authenticity beyond its staged effects. For anyone who walks its winding paths, navigates its darkened corridors, or ventures through its dense cornfields, the haunted corn maze provides an encounter with something unknown, a place where the past lingers, and where the boundary between reality and the supernatural feels impossibly thin. The Conjuring Hill, situated in Bonneville, Kentucky, is a location steeped in history and shrouded in mystery. For generations, the surrounding land has been home to families whose lives are entwined with both the everyday rhythms of rural life and the inexplicable occurrences that have earned the hill its ominous reputation. Locals speak in hushed tones of strange happenings that have persisted over decades, making the Conjuring Hill a place where the line between the natural and the supernatural seems to blur. Visitors and paranormal enthusiasts alike have been drawn to the hill, reporting experiences that suggest the spirits of the past remain present, unwilling or unable to rest. The hill itself rises subtly above the surrounding countryside, its slopes dotted with trees, old fences, and the remnants of long-abandoned homesteads. Its appearance is unassuming in daylight, but as the sun sets, shadows stretch across the hillside, creating an atmosphere that feels charged and alive. Those who have walked the area at night often describe a sense of unease, as if unseen eyes are tracking their every movement. Many who traverse the hill report a sudden drop in temperature, a heaviness in the air, or an inexplicable feeling of being observed. Reports of ghostly figures on the Conjuring Hill are among the most common and unsettling experiences described by visitors. Shadowy humanoid shapes are often seen flitting between trees, standing silently near old structures, or disappearing into the undergrowth before they can be fully recognized. Some witnesses describe figures dressed in outdated clothing, reminiscent of earlier generations who once lived in the area. Others have glimpsed smaller, almost childlike apparitions moving quietly along the hill slopes. These apparitions rarely interact aggressively, but their sudden appearances and the instinctive fear they provoke leave a lasting impression. Those who have spent time on the hill often speak of the persistent feeling that the spirits are aware of their presence and that the land itself is imbued with memory. Sounds on the Conjuring Hill further contribute to its haunted reputation. Visitors frequently report hearing footsteps behind them on paths that appear empty, whispers drifting across the night air, or the soft creaking of old fences and tree limbs as though someone or something is moving through them. At times, mournful cries or faint laughter echo across the hillside, unnervingly close yet impossible to locate. The wind often seems to carry voices that vanish when pursued, reinforcing the sense that the hill is alive with unseen activity. These auditory phenomena, combined with visual sightings, create an environment where the ordinary and the paranormal coexist, leaving visitors questioning what is real and what is imagined. Paranormal investigators have shown considerable interest in the Conjuring Hill, drawn by the consistency and detail of eyewitness accounts. Cameras have recorded shadowy forms moving across the landscape. Audio equipment has picked up whispers and unexplained sounds, and EMF detectors have recorded unusual spikes in energy at specific points on the hill. Investigators speculate that these occurrences may be residual energy left by past events, or perhaps conscious spirits that continue to inhabit the land. While skeptics often attribute such phenomena to fear, suggestion, or environmental factors, the sheer number of independent reports lends credibility to the hill's reputation as a site of supernatural activity. The hill's history is closely tied to the lives of the families who have lived nearby. Many tales speak of hardships, tragedies, and sudden deaths that may have left emotional imprints on the land. Some of the earliest settlers of Bonneville are said to have buried members of their families on or near the hill, contributing to its connection with the spiritual realm. Stories of mysterious disappearances, sudden accidents, and unexplainable events have been passed down through generations, blending with the folklore of the area. These stories not only add to the mystique of the Conjuring Hill, but also suggest that its haunted reputation is deeply rooted in both history and collective memory. Visitors often report an unsettling combination of fear and fascination while on the hill. Some describe fleeting glimpses of figures disappearing into the trees. Others feel sudden touches or brushes against them when no one is near. Many recount experiencing cold spots or a heavy, oppressive sensation that seems to press upon them as they walk along certain paths. Even those who initially arrive with skepticism leave with a heightened awareness of the environment, sensing that the Conjuring Hill holds secrets that are not easily explained. The combination of visual, auditory, and sensory phenomena makes the experience immersive, leaving an impression long after visitors have departed. The natural features of the Conjuring Hill: rolling slopes, dense trees, and isolated paths enhance its eerie atmosphere. At night, shadows merge with the darkness, and the rustling of leaves seems amplified, creating a sense that the hill itself is alive. The terrain's complexity makes it easy for figures to appear and vanish, for sounds to echo unpredictably, and for the mind to fill in gaps with both fear and curiosity. These factors contribute to the hill's enduring reputation as a place where paranormal experiences are not only reported but often feel profoundly real. Ultimately, the Conjuring Hill in Bonneville, Kentucky, is more than just a location with stories of ghosts and strange occurrences. It is a site where history, memory, and the unexplained converge. The shadowy figures, mysterious sounds, and cold, oppressive spots reported by countless visitors give the hill an aura of authenticity that cannot be easily dismissed. For those who traverse its slopes, walk its hidden paths, or linger in its darker corners, the Conjuring Hill offers an experience that goes beyond thrill-seeking. It is a place where the past continues to whisper, where spirits may remain tethered to the land, and where the line between the natural and the supernatural feels both thin and ever-present. The Old Talbot Tavern, located in Bardstown, Kentucky, stands as a remarkable testament to the history and spirit of the Bluegrass state. Built in 1779, it is one of Kentucky's oldest continually operating establishments, offering travelers a glimpse into the past while serving as a hub for locals and visitors alike. Beyond its historical significance, however, the tavern is renowned for its haunted reputation, drawing ghost hunters, paranormal enthusiasts, and curious travelers eager to explore a place where centuries of history and the unexplained seem to intertwine. Over the years, the Old Talbot Tavern has accumulated countless stories of apparitions, strange noises, and eerie occurrences that continue to fascinate those who enter its storied halls. The building itself exudes history at every turn. Constructed in the late 18th century, the tavern's architecture, with its heavy timbers, creaking floors, and narrow staircases, has remained remarkably intact. The walls are lined with artifacts, old photographs, and memorabilia that speak to the tavern's long-standing presence in Bardstown. Yet, it is precisely this antiquity, combined with the many lives and events that have passed through its doors, that contributes to the palpable sense of mystery within the tavern. The atmosphere is thick with history, and for some, the echoes of the past seem not only metaphorical, but literal, as stories of ghostly activity suggest that the spirits of former patrons, travelers, and residents linger still. One of the most frequently reported experiences involves the tavern's second floor, where guests have seen shadowy figures moving along the hallways and disappearing into rooms. Many describe the shapes as faintly human, sometimes appearing dressed in period clothing, hinting at patrons who may have crossed over from centuries past. Some guests have reported seeing a man in old-fashioned attire standing at the foot of the stairs, watching silently before vanishing when approached. Others recount glimpses of women in 18th or 19th century dresses, walking through rooms where no one else is present. These visual encounters often evoke a mixture of awe and unease, as visitors feel both the weight of history and the presence of something inexplicably alive. Auditory phenomena are also common in the Old Talbot Tavern. Guests frequently report hearing footsteps on the creaking floors, doors opening and closing without cause, or the faint clinking of glasses from rooms that appear empty. Soft murmurs, whispered conversations, and occasional laughter are said to echo through the hallways, adding to the sense that the tavern is alive with unseen activity. Many claim that these sounds are distinct from the normal creaks and groans of an old building, possessing a cadence and intent that suggests conscious movement or communication from spirits. Some guests even report hearing their names called softly, a phenomenon that leaves them questioning whether it is their imagination or an encounter with the supernatural. Cold spots and sudden drops in temperature are another hallmark of the tavern's paranormal activity. Guests have described feeling a chill when entering certain rooms, even on warm days, or experiencing sudden shivers when standing in areas where apparitions have been seen. These cold spots are often accompanied by a sense of being watched or an overwhelming feeling of tension, leaving visitors with a heightened awareness of the environment. Many paranormal investigators consider such phenomena to be indicators of spiritual presence, suggesting that the tavern's long history and the energy of past occupants have created pockets of residual activity. The tavern has been a magnet for paranormal investigators, both amateur and professional. Cameras, audio equipment, and EMF detectors have been used extensively to capture and document unexplained occurrences. Over the years, these investigations have produced recordings of shadowy forms on video, voices on audio that cannot be attributed to living people, and electromagnetic anomalies that defy conventional explanation. Some researchers suggest that the Old Talbot Tavern serves as a conduit for spirits, a place where the veil between the living and the dead is thin, allowing energy and consciousness to interact across time. Others believe that residual energy from significant events in the tavern's long history, celebrations, tragedies, and daily life lingers, manifesting as unexplained phenomena that repeat over the decades. Local lore adds to the tavern's haunted reputation. Stories of duels, secret meetings, and tragic deaths within or near the building have been passed down for generations. Some tales describe guests who never left the tavern alive, while others speak of spectral figures that reappear on anniversaries of particular events. These legends, while often difficult to verify historically, enhance the sense of mystery and provide context for the unexplained experiences reported by visitors. For many, the combination of verifiable history and anecdotal accounts of the supernatural makes the Old Talbot Tavern a uniquely compelling location. Guests who spend the night in the tavern's rooms often recount experiences that leave a lasting impression. Some describe seeing shadows cross their room, objects moving without explanation, or feeling a presence at the foot of their bed. Others report sudden temperature drops, whispers in the dark, or a sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Even those who arrive skeptical of ghosts often leave with a sense that the tavern holds more than simple history, yet holds the echoes of those who came before, a lingering presence that refuses to be ignored. Ultimately, the Old Talbot Tavern in Bardstown, Kentucky, is far more than a historical site or a popular tourist destination. Its combination of age, history, and repeated reports of paranormal activity creates an environment where the past is tangible and the supernatural feels possible. The apparitions, disembodied voices, and chilling phenomena reported over decades make the tavern a focal point for those intrigued by the paranormal. For visitors who walk its creaking floors, explore its narrow hallways, or linger in its shadowed rooms, the Old Talbot Tavern offers an encounter with history, mystery, and the unexplained, a place where the spirits of the past continue to make their presence known. The Campbell House, situated in the heart of Lexington, Kentucky, stands as a remarkable example of historic architecture and Southern heritage. Yet it is equally renowned for its reputation as one of the city's most haunted locations. Built in the 19th century, the house has witnessed generations of families, social gatherings, and the ebb and flow of history, each leaving subtle marks on the property that, according to visitors and locals alike, extend beyond the physical. The Campbell House's haunting reputation has made it a subject of fascination for paranormal investigators, ghost enthusiasts, and those simply curious about the mysteries that linger in old buildings. Visitors to the Campbell House often describe a sense of presence immediately upon entering. The stately architecture, ornate woodwork, and historic furnishings set a scene of elegance. But many report feeling watched or sensing a weight in the air that seems disproportionate to the physical space. The house's long hallways, high ceilings, and antique rooms create perfect settings for subtle phenomena to take hold, amplifying both natural sounds and the imagination. Guests have reported cold spots in areas that should otherwise be warm, sudden drops in temperature, and a sensation of being touched or followed by an unseen presence. These encounters leave many with the feeling that the house itself remembers the lives once lived within its walls. One of the most frequently reported experiences involves sightings of shadowy figures moving through the rooms. Some witnesses describe humanoid forms lingering in doorways or standing at the end of hallways, vanishing when approached. Others recount seeing figures dressed in period clothing from the 1800s, their features indistinct but their presence unmistakably human. These apparitions often appear near windows, fireplaces, or staircases, places that historically would have been central to household activity. The fleeting glimpses and sudden disappearances create a sense of unpredictability, reinforcing the feeling that the house is alive with memory, as if the spirits of past residents continue to inhabit the spaces they once knew intimately. Auditory phenomena are also commonly reported at the Campbell House. Visitors frequently hear footsteps echoing along the floors, even when no one else is present. Doors and windows creak without cause, and occasional thumps or knocks emanate from empty rooms. Some guests have reported hearing whispers, conversations, or faint laughter that seems to float from the walls themselves. These sounds are often described as distinct from the usual settling noises of an old building, carrying a rhythm or cadence that suggests intent. Some claim to hear their own names called softly, as though the house itself is attempting to communicate with them. These auditory experiences, when combined with visual sightings, create an environment where the ordinary and the supernatural merge seamlessly, leaving visitors both intrigued and unnerved. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to the Campbell House, intrigued by the number and consistency of reported experiences. Using cameras, audio recorders, and EMF detectors, investigators have documented anomalies that cannot be easily explained. Shadowy forms appear on video in areas where no one is present. Audio equipment has captured whispers that defy logical attribution, and electromagnetic spikes have been recorded in locations known for previous sightings. These findings have fueled speculation that the Campbell House serves as a conduit for spiritual activity, perhaps retaining the energy of past events or the consciousness of former occupants. Whether residual energy or conscious spirits, the The house consistently provides encounters that leave visitors with a lasting sense of wonder and unease. The history of the Campbell house contributes to its haunted reputation. Over the decades, the home has seen births, deaths, celebrations, and tragedies, each adding to the aura that surrounds it. Stories passed down through generations speak of family members who died unexpectedly, events marked by sorrow or abrupt change, and mysterious occurrences that were documented at the time. The accumulation of these experiences may have left subtle impressions on the house, creating conditions that allow paranormal phenomena to manifest for modern-day visitors. The blending of documented history with eyewitness accounts adds to the authenticity of the haunting, giving the Campbell house a depth that goes beyond mere folklore. Many visitors report experiences that combine visual, auditory, and sensory phenomena, creating an immersive and often unsettling encounter. Some recount seeing figures walking through rooms and vanishing into walls. Others describe cold gusts of air brushing past them, or the sensation of invisible hands lightly touching shoulders. Occasional reports include the sound of doors slamming, objects shifting slightly, or furniture moving without explanation. Even guests who initially arrive skeptical of the supernatural often leave with a sense that the Campbell house holds mysteries that cannot be easily explained. These encounters reinforce the house's reputation as a location where history and the paranormal intersect. The architecture and design of the Campbell house further enhance the eerie atmosphere. High ceilings, long corridors, narrow staircases, and hidden alcoves create spaces where shadows gather and sounds echo unpredictably. Antique furnishings and period decorations provide both context and ambience, making the house feel as though it is frozen in time, yet aware of the present. The physical environment, combined with the reports of ghostly activity, heightens the sense that the house is more than a structure. It is a vessel for memory, emotion, and perhaps lingering spirits. Ultimately, the Campbell house in Lexington, Kentucky, is a location where history, mystery, and the unexplained converge. Its age, combined with consistent reports of apparitions, strange sounds, and sudden changes in atmosphere, has made it a focal point for those drawn to the paranormal. Visitors walking its hallways, exploring its rooms, and lingering in its shadowed corners often leave with a profound sense that the past is alive within its walls. Whether the phenomena experienced are the result of residual energy, conscious spirits, or the heightened awareness that comes from walking in a historic place, the Campbell house continues to captivate and haunt all who enter, offering an encounter with the unknown that lingers long after departure. The McCoy Farm, nestled in the rolling hills of Pikeville, Kentucky, is a property steeped in both history and legend. Dating back to the mid-1800s, the farm has witnessed generations of families living and working the land, but it is the darker chapters of its past that have left a lasting mark on the community and earned the farm a reputation for being haunted. Over the decades, the McCoy Farm has become synonymous with tales of violence, tragedy, and unexplained phenomena, drawing the attention of locals, historians, and paranormal enthusiasts alike. The farm's history is inseparable from the feuds that once tore apart families in the region. In the 19th century, disputes over land, livestock, and personal grievances escalated into violent confrontations, leaving multiple deaths in their wake. It is said that the McCoy Farm was at the center of these conflicts, with gunfights erupting in the fields and homestead, often spilling into the surrounding hills. These violent events are believed to have left an enduring imprint on the land, creating an environment where anger, grief, and fear lingered long after the bloodshed ended. Locals tell stories of phantom gunshots echoing through the hills at night, as if the conflicts from generations ago are replaying in the ether. And visitors have reported feeling an oppressive presence while walking the farm's property. Witnesses often describe shadowy figures moving through the fields, especially at dusk or in the dead of night. These figures are rarely fully visible, often appearing as dark silhouettes at the edge of vision, vanishing when approached. Some resemble men in period clothing, suggesting a lingering presence from the time of the feuds, while others appear more distorted, almost ephemeral. as though caught between this world and the next. Many who encounter these apparitions report a deep sense of unease, an instinctual fear that seems rooted in something beyond mere imagination. The figures are said to roam the property silently, sometimes near the barns, across the open fields, or along the tree lines, as though retracing the events of the past. The auditory experiences reported on the McCoy farm are equally chilling. Visitors have described hearing footsteps on wooden floors of the old farmhouse or the sound of doors opening and closing when no one is present. Occasionally, muffled voices or heated arguments seem to drift across the property, vanishing when one tries to locate their origin. Some locals even claim to hear crying, laughter, or desperate whispers at night, further contributing to the farm's eerie atmosphere. These sounds, coupled with the visual sightings, create a setting where the past feels alive and present, and where ordinary explanations often fail to satisfy. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to the McCoy farm, eager to capture evidence of its haunted reputation. Cameras and audio recorders have picked up shadowy forms and unexplained noises, while EMF detectors have registered spikes in energy that do not correspond with any known electrical sources. Some investigators suggest that the farm's history of violent conflict may have left residual energy, a kind of imprint that replayed traumatic events or emotions under certain conditions. Others believe that conscious spirits, those tied to unfinished business or unresolved grievances, continue to inhabit the land, observing and occasionally interacting with the living. Regardless of the explanation, the experiences reported at McCoy Farm are consistent enough to make the property a focal point for those interested in the supernatural. The physical environment of the McCoy Farm enhances its haunting qualities. Rolling hills, dense woodlands, and narrow paths create spaces where shadows move and sounds carry in strange ways. The old farmhouse and barns, with their creaking floors and weathered timbers, offer perfect stages for both imagined and unexplained activity. Many visitors report feeling disoriented or watched while walking through the property, a sensation amplified by the isolation and the history of conflict that seems to linger in the air. Even during daylight hours, the farm exudes a sense of quiet tension, as though the events of the past are never far from memory. Local stories also speak of tragic deaths that occurred on the property beyond the family feuds. Accidents involving farm equipment, sudden illnesses, and other untimely fatalities are said to contribute to the unsettled energy of the farm. Witnesses have recounted seeing apparitions near these locations, sometimes in positions or attire consistent with historical accounts. Others have felt sudden drops in temperature or an unshakable feeling of dread in areas where these tragedies occurred. These experiences reinforce the notion that the McCoy farm is not simply haunted by legends, but by a tapestry of real events that have left enduring echoes. Visitors to the farm often leave with stories that linger long after they depart. Some recount fleeting glimpses of figures disappearing behind trees or across fields, while others describe sudden chills, the sound of footsteps behind them, or doors creaking in empty buildings. Even those who initially arrive with skepticism often experience moments that challenge their understanding, leaving them to wonder whether they have witnessed echoes of the past. Residual energy, or spirits tied to the farm's long history of violence and loss. Ultimately, the McCoy Farm in Pikeville, Kentucky, is a site where history and the supernatural intersect in compelling and unsettling ways. Its legacy of feuds, tragic deaths, and unresolved conflict has created an environment where the echoes of the past remain palpable. The phantom gunshots, shadowy figures, and unexplained sounds reported by generations of visitors contribute to a reputation that is both chilling and fascinating. For those who walk its fields, explore its old buildings, or simply gaze across its rolling hills at dusk, the McCoy Farm offers a haunting encounter with history, memory, and the unknown, a place where the past refuses to remain silent. Harlan Hollow Farm, tucked deep within the rugged hills of Harlan County, Kentucky, carries a reputation that has intrigued and unnerved locals for generations. The farm sits in a secluded valley, surrounded by dense forests and winding Appalachian roads. a place where isolation and history converge to create an atmosphere thick with mystery. While it appears at first glance to be a simple homestead, those who have spent time on the property tell a very different story. A story of unexplained occurrences, spectral sightings, and a lingering sense that the past refuses to stay buried. The farm's remote location has always contributed to its eerie reputation. In a region once dominated by miners, farmers, and the families who worked the Appalachian Hills, tragedies were frequent, and death was never far from everyday life. It is said that the spirits of those who lived and died on this land remain restless, bound to the farm by unfinished business or untold grief. Visitors often report feeling a sudden presence upon entering the property, as if unseen eyes are watching from the tree line or the shadows of the farmhouse. The isolation amplifies these sensations, leaving guests with a heightened awareness of the environment and a creeping sense of unease. Inside the farmhouse, the unexplained phenomena are perhaps most pronounced. Guests frequently describe cold gusts of wind sweeping through rooms with closed windows and doors, sudden drops in temperature that seem localized to particular areas. Many have experienced the sensation of being followed while walking the narrow hallways, or felt invisible touches on their shoulders or arms. Footsteps echo along creaking wooden floors when no one else is present, and doors have been known to open and close, seemingly on their own. Some visitors even claim to hear whisper-soft, distant voices calling their names, words that vanish when they attempt to locate the source. These experiences, often occurring without warning, leave a lasting impression and have cemented the farm's status as one of Harlan County's most haunted locations. The surrounding land is no less mysterious. Dense woods and rolling hills encircled the farm, and many report seeing shadowy figures moving among the trees, particularly at dusk or during foggy evenings. Some witnesses describe human-like shapes in old-fashioned work clothes, as though miners or farmers from another era are retracing their daily routines. Others have observed fleeting, indistinct forms that vanish when approached, leaving only the sense of a lingering presence. The combination of the farm's isolation, the natural cover of the terrain, and the history of hardship in the area creates an environment where such sightings feel not only plausible but inescapably real. Locals share stories of tragedies connected to Harlan Hollow Farm that may contribute to the restless energy felt there. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, miners worked the hills nearby under dangerous conditions, with fatal accidents leaving families grieving and communities in shock. Farmers who labored on the rugged land often succumbed to disease, injury, or the harsh winters. These events, preserved in oral history and whispered legend, are said to have left emotional imprints on the land itself. Paranormal enthusiasts suggest that the voices, footsteps, and cold spots reported on the farm are echoes of those who lived and died here, a lingering presence that continues to interact with the living. Visitors often recount experiences that defy simple explanation. Some describe sudden, inexplicable feelings of dread while standing in a room or near an old barn. Others report objects shifting slightly without cause or the faint sound of tools being used in areas that have long been abandoned. At times, people have reported hearing entire conversations, soft and muted, as though the voices belonged to people just out of sight. Many claim to sense figures standing silently nearby, sometimes at the edge of perception, only to disappear when they turn to look. These experiences create an immersive, almost cinematic encounter with the supernatural, leaving witnesses questioning their own perceptions while simultaneously feeling a deep connection to the farm's history. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Harlan Hollow Farm, documenting experiences with audio recorders, cameras, and electromagnetic field detectors. Video recordings have captured shadowy forms moving across hallways and open fields. Audio equipment has recorded whispers and faint vocalizations not attributable to any living person. EMF meters have registered unusual spikes in energy in specific rooms, often corresponding with reports of sightings or cold spots. While skeptics attribute these phenomena to the imagination, environmental factors, or the farm's natural acoustics, The consistency and specificity of the reports lend weight to claims that the property is far from ordinary. Even the farmhouse's architecture seems to play a role in the unsettling atmosphere. Narrow corridors, creaking floors, and hidden corners create spaces where shadows gather and sounds echo unpredictably. The layout, combined with the property's isolation, allows the mind to fill in gaps, amplifying the sense of presence. Artifacts from past generations, tools, furniture, and personal belongings left behind add to the feeling that the house and land are still occupied by those who came before. Visitors often leave with stories of fleeting glimpses, whispers, and cold spots that linger in memory long after their departure. Ultimately, Harlan Hollow Farm is more than a secluded homestead in Kentucky's Appalachian region. It is a place where history, tragedy, and the unexplained converge. The footsteps in empty rooms, cold gusts of wind, shadowy figures in the fields, and whispers calling names all contribute to an enduring aura of mystery. For those who venture into its isolated corners, the farm offers an experience that is both chilling and fascinating. A chance to encounter the lingering spirits of miners, farmers, and families who once called this land home. Harlan Hollow Farm stands as a testament to the power of history, memory, and the unknown. A place where the past refuses to rest quietly, and the veil between the living and the departed feels thin and permeable. Greasy Creek Farm, nestled on the outskirts of Lexington, Kentucky, is a property cloaked in both history and mystery. Surrounded by dense woods and bordered by the meandering waters of Greasy Creek, the farm has long been associated with paranormal activity. Locals speak in hushed tones about the strange lights, eerie sounds, and ghostly presences that have haunted the land for generations. The farm's reputation is so pervasive that it has drawn the attention of paranormal investigators, historians, and thrill-seekers from across the state, all eager to experience firsthand the phenomena that have made Greasy Creek Farm a focal point for tales of the supernatural. The origins of the farm's haunted reputation are as old as the land itself. Settled in the early 1800s, Greasy Creek Farm has witnessed generations of families endure the hardships of rural life. Life on the farm was often harsh, and tragedies were frequent, ranging from sudden illnesses and fatal accidents to violent disputes over land and resources. Over time, locals began to report unusual occurrences on the property, suggesting that the spirits of those who lived, worked, and died there had never fully departed. These early accounts often involve fleeting glimpses of figures along the creek, unexplained noises in the farmhouse, and a sense that the land itself is charged with energy from the past. One of the most enduring and commonly reported phenomena involves ghostly lantern lights appearing along Greasy Creek. Numerous witnesses have described seeing small, flickering lights moving along the water's edge late at night, casting a dim glow on the surrounding trees and underbrush. Some claim that these lights resemble lanterns carried by people long gone, guiding lost spirits along the creek as they wander in search of peace. Visitors who approach the lights often feel an overwhelming sense of unease, as though they are intruding on something sacred or otherworldly. Many report that the lights vanish when approached, leaving only the soft ripple of the creek and the whispering wind through the trees. The farmhouse itself has been the scene of countless paranormal experiences. Guests frequently describe cold spots in certain rooms, sudden drops in temperature that defy explanation, and a pervasive feeling of being watched. Some report hearing footsteps echoing on the creaking floors, or doors opening and closing by themselves. Whispered voices, unintelligible yet distinctly human, have been heard drifting through hallways and across rooms. One particularly common experience involves the sensation of unseen hands brushing against visitors' arms or shoulders as they explore the property, a phenomenon that has left many with a mixture of fear and fascination. These sensory encounters, both visual and tactile, contribute to the farm's reputation as one of the most haunted locations in Lexington. Shadowy figures have also been reported throughout Greasy Creek Farm. Witnesses often describe indistinct shapes flitting between the trees, standing in doorways, or disappearing into corners when approached. Some figures appear human, dressed in clothing from past centuries, suggesting the presence of spirits tied to the farm's long history. Others are more difficult to define, manifesting as dark silhouettes that defy conventional explanation. These sightings frequently occur near the creek or the wooded areas, places where the natural environment enhances both the appearance and the eeriness of these encounters. Paranormal investigators have long been intrigued by Greasy Creek Farm, and the property has been the subject of numerous investigations over the years. Cameras have captured fleeting, shadowy forms. Audio equipment has recorded whispers and footsteps that cannot be attributed to any living person, and EMF meters have detected unusual fluctuations in energy throughout the farm. Many investigators suggest that the combination of tragic history and natural isolation has created a location where residual energy and restless spirits converge, making it a hotspot for supernatural activity. Others theorize that certain areas of the property act as conduits, amplifying paranormal phenomena and allowing them to manifest more vividly. The farm's natural surroundings play a significant role in its haunted atmosphere. The dense woods provide both concealment and a sense of seclusion, while the creek itself seems to carry a strange resonance, its flowing water reflecting light in ways that enhance the ethereal quality of the ghostly lanterns. Even during daylight hours, visitors report an uneasy sensation, a quiet tension that seems to emanate from the land. The isolation of the farm, combined with the stories of tragic deaths and unexplained phenomena, makes it an ideal location for those drawn to the paranormal, as the environment seems to heighten awareness and sensitivity to the supernatural. Local lore surrounding Greasy Creek Farm adds layers of depth to its haunted reputation. Tales speak of farmers and laborers who perished unexpectedly, of travelers lost in the woods, and of spirits who have returned repeatedly to retrace their steps. Some legends suggest that the lantern lights are not merely spectral guides, but signals from spirits seeking release or attempting to communicate with the living. These stories, passed down through generations, have blended history with legend, creating a rich narrative that continues to attract both skeptics and believers. Visitors often leave the farm with experiences that linger long after they depart. Some recount the eerie sensation of a presence following them along the creek, or the sudden chill of a cold spot in the farmhouse. Others describe seeing shadowy figures or glimpsing the flickering lanterns that appear without explanation. Even those who initially arrive as skeptics often find themselves questioning what they have witnessed, as the combination of visual, auditory, and sensory phenomena creates an experience that feels both tangible and otherworldly. Ultimately, Greasy Creek Farm in Lexington, Kentucky, is more than just a rural property with a colorful history. It is a place where the natural and supernatural converge in compelling and unsettling ways. The ghostly lanterns along the creek, the shadowy figures in the woods, and the unexplained touches and sounds in the farmhouse all contribute to an enduring atmosphere of mystery and intrigue. For those who visit the farm, offers a unique encounter with history, memory, and the unknown, a place where the spirits of the past appear unwilling to be forgotten, and where the line between the living and the spectral seems to blur beneath the Appalachian sky. Black Hollow Farm, located on the outskirts of Louisville, Kentucky, is a property shrouded in tragedy and mystery. The farm's history is marked by one of the most devastating events in the area, catastrophic bonfire that claimed the lives of multiple people and forever changed the land. Over the years, locals have reported unexplained phenomena, eerie apparitions, and an unsettling atmosphere that seems to permeate every corner of the farm. Black Hollow Farm has become a focal point for paranormal enthusiasts, investigators, and thrill seekers drawn to its dark reputation, making it one of Kentucky's most chilling, haunted sites. The bonfire at Black Hollow Farm, which occurred decades ago, is at the center of the farm's haunted legacy. Accounts suggest that the blaze was sudden and intense, consuming the barn in minutes and trapping those inside. The exact number of victims has been a matter of local record and oral tradition, but it is widely accepted that multiple lives were lost in the flames. Survivors and nearby residents recounted screams echoing through the night, the smell of smoke filling the air long after the fire was extinguished, and a lingering sense of grief that seemed to cling to the property. Many believe that the souls of those who perished never left, their energy tied to the location of the tragedy. Witnesses to paranormal activity on Black Hollow Farm often describe seeing apparitions near the ruins of the burned barn. Shadowy figures are frequently observed wandering among the charred remains, appearing as if reliving the moments of terror from that fateful night. Some describe seeing people in period clothing from the time of the fire, their features indistinct but their presence undeniable. Others have reported fleeting images of faces in windows, figures standing silently at the edge of the tree line, or ghostly silhouettes moving through the fields. These sightings often evoke a sense of sorrow and despair, a reminder of the lives lost and the tragedy that unfolded on the farm. Auditory phenomena are also common at Black Hollow Farm. Visitors report hearing screams, cries, and footsteps echoing across the property, even in areas far from the burned barn. Doors and windows have been known to slam without explanation, and occasional thumps or knocks are heard inside the farmhouse and surrounding outbuildings. Some guests have even recounted hearing whispering voices, calling out names, or murmuring unintelligible words, adding to the pervasive feeling that the spirits of the fire victims are still present. These auditory experiences, combined with visual sightings, create a chilling and immersive encounter for those exploring the farm. Animals on the property are said to behave strangely in the presence of the unseen. Horses, dogs, and other farm animals are reported to become unusually skittish near the barn ruins, often refusing to enter certain areas or acting agitated without visible cause. This erratic behavior is interpreted by many as a response to the lingering spirits, an instinctive awareness of the supernatural that humans may not always perceive. The combination of human and animal reactions strengthens the impression that Black Hollow Farm is a place where the living and the dead coexist, and where the tragic events of the past continue to ripple through the present. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Black Hollow Farm, intrigued by the consistency of reports and the intensity of experiences. Using cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic field detectors, investigators have documented anomalies such as shadowy forms, unexplained sounds, and sudden temperature fluctuations. Some recordings capture faint figures in the ruins of the barn or along the property's tree lines. Others pick up ghostly voices or footsteps where no one else is present. EMF spikes often occur in the same areas where apparitions have been reported, suggesting a connection between the residual energy of the fire and ongoing paranormal activity. The farm's physical features also contribute to its haunted reputation. The burned barn, still standing as a skeletal reminder of the tragedy, serves as a focal point for supernatural encounters. Its charred timbers and blackened walls create an unsettling visual backdrop for sightings and experiences, while the surrounding fields and wooded areas add to the sense of isolation and vulnerability. Even the farmhouse itself, with its creaking floors and aged architecture, seems to carry echoes of past events, amplifying the feeling that Black Hollow Farm is a living repository of history and grief. Local lore surrounding the property reinforces its reputation. Stories passed down over generations speak of attempts to rebuild or restore the farm being met with strange occurrences, from sudden illnesses to unexplained accidents. Some claim that anyone attempting to spend the night near the barn experiences intense feelings of dread, cold spots, and even visions of the fire itself. These narratives, blending documented history with personal accounts, have created a rich tapestry of legend that continues to draw attention from those fascinated by the paranormal. Visitors to Black Hollow Farm often leave with experiences that linger long after they depart. Many describe a sense of being watched or followed, cold drafts that seem localized to specific spots, or the inexplicable sensation of invisible hands brushing past them. Shadowy forms, flickering lights, and ghostly whispers are frequently recounted, with even skeptical guests admitting to feeling a profound unease while exploring the property. These encounters create a powerful connection to the farm's past, allowing visitors to feel the presence of those who suffered and died in the fire. Ultimately, Black Hollow Farm in Louisville, Kentucky, is more than a historic property. It is a site where tragedy, memory, and the unexplained converge. The burned barn, the apparitions, the strange sounds, and the unusual animal behavior all contribute to an atmosphere charged with sorrow and mystery. For those who venture onto the property, the farm offers a haunting encounter with the past, a chance to witness lingering spirits, and a reminder of how deeply tragedy can imprint itself on the land. Black Hollow Farm remains a chilling testament to the enduring power of history and the supernatural, a place where the echoes of a horrific event continue to resonate through time. Red Oak Farm, located near Bowling Green, Kentucky, carries a history shrouded in mystery and unease. The property, surrounded by rolling fields and dense woodlands, has long been the source of unsettling stories and strange occurrences. Dating back to the 1800s, Red Oak Farm gained a reputation as a place where people could vanish without a trace. Over generations, locals have recounted tales of men and women disappearing while working the fields, walking through the woods, or tending to livestock, leaving behind nothing but unanswered questions. These disappearances, unexplained and often abrupt, have woven a dark legacy that continues to haunt the farm to this day. The earliest accounts of Red Oak Farm's mysterious disappearances date back to the mid-19th century. Farmers, laborers, and travelers passing through the area would occasionally vanish without warning. Some were found days or weeks later, disoriented and unable to explain where they had been, while others were never seen again. These incidents led to whispered warnings among locals, cautioning visitors to remain vigilant when traversing the fields or venturing into the dense woods surrounding the farm. Over time, the farm developed a reputation as a place where the ordinary rules of reality seemed to falter, and where the unseen had a presence that could not be ignored. Reports of paranormal activity on Red Oak Farm began to intensify in the 20th century. Visitors frequently described seeing fleeting shadows moving along the edges of the fields or between the trees, often disappearing when approached. Some have reported hearing voices carried on the wind, distant calls that mimic human speech yet vanish when one attempts to locate their source. The combination of visual and auditory phenomena has left many witnesses with a profound sense of unease, as if the farm itself retains the memories of the lost and wandering souls. These experiences are often reported near areas historically associated with disappearances, suggesting that the energy of those lost may linger where their lives were abruptly interrupted. The farm's natural environment seems to amplify the sense of the uncanny. Rolling hills create shadows at twilight that shift and change, making it difficult to discern the ordinary from the supernatural. The dense woods that border the property obscure sightlines, allowing glimpses of movement that vanish before they can be fully observed. Even during daylight, the farm can feel isolated, with a quiet that is occasionally broken by rustling leaves, distant creaks of trees, or the unexpected call of a bird. Many believe that this isolation, combined with the farm's dark history, makes Red Oak Farm a natural conduit for unexplained phenomena. Visitors often recount intense and disorienting experiences while exploring the property. Some describe the sensation of being followed or watched, even when no one else is present. Others report cold drafts or sudden changes in temperature in areas where there is no apparent source. Footsteps are commonly heard on the creaking floors of the old farmhouse or along the pathways between fields, and doors have been known to open or close without explanation. At times, witnesses have even felt invisible hands brush past them, heightening the sense of presence and reinforcing the feeling that the farm is not simply an empty landscape, but a place inhabited by unseen entities. Shadowy figures are among the most frequently reported phenomena at Red Oak Farm. These figures are often described as indistinct shapes, appearing momentarily before vanishing into the surrounding woods or fields. Some witnesses have reported humanoid forms and clothing reminiscent of the 19th century, suggesting that these are the spirits of those who disappeared long ago. Others are less defined, appearing as moving darkness that cannot be pinned down or explained. Many claim that these apparitions appear along paths or in areas historically associated with disappearances, suggesting a lingering connection to the farm's tragic history. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Red Oak Farm, intrigued by the consistency of witness reports and the property's storied past. Equipment such as cameras, audio recorders, and electromagnetic field meters have captured anomalies that cannot be easily explained. Audio devices sometimes record faint whispers or voices calling names, while cameras have documented fleeting shapes and movements among the trees. EMF meters frequently detect spikes of energy in the fields and along the wooded edges, corresponding with areas where multiple sightings have occurred. While skeptics attribute many experiences to imagination or environmental factors, the volume and specificity of reports suggest a persistent and tangible presence. Local legends surrounding Red Oak Farm reinforce the sense of lingering spirits and unresolved tragedy. Stories speak of families who searched for missing loved ones, often finding only abandoned belongings or signs of struggle. Folklore suggests that some spirits remain tethered to the land, wandering the fields and woods in search of closure or attempting to communicate with the living. These tales, passed down through generations, have imbued the property with a sense of mystery and foreboding that persists to this day. Visitors to Red Oak Farm often leave with experiences that linger in memory long after their departure. Some recount seeing shadowy figures darting across the fields, others hear voices carried by the wind, and many report the chilling sensation of being watched or followed. Even skeptics frequently describe a deep, unshakable unease that pervades the property. The combination of natural isolation, historical tragedy, and paranormal phenomena makes Red Oak Farm an unsettling yet fascinating location, where the past and the present seem to coexist in a haunting and palpable way. Ultimately, Red Oak Farm near Bowling Green, Kentucky, is more than just farmland. It is a place where history, loss, and the unexplained intersect. The mysterious disappearances of the past, the shadowy figures, the whispers on the wind, and the sensation of unseen presence all contribute to an atmosphere that is at once eerie and compelling. For those who venture across its fields or into its wooded paths, Red Oak Farm offers an encounter with the unknown, a chance to witness the lingering echoes of lives abruptly ended, and a reminder that some mysteries may never be solved. Whispering Pines Farm, located just outside Owensboro, Kentucky, is a property steeped in mystery and shadowed by tragedy. Its name comes from the strange whispers that many claim to hear drifting through the dense pine groves that surround the farm. For generations, locals have shared stories of untimely deaths, drownings, and unexplained disappearances connected to the property. These tales, passed down over decades, have cemented the farm's reputation as one of the most haunted locations in the region. The farm's dark history is woven into its landscape. The pine groves themselves, tall and thick, create long shadows and narrow paths that seem to shift with the wind. It is within these groves that many visitors report hearing whispers, sometimes unintelligible murmurs, and other times voices calling their names. People exploring the farm late at night often describe an almost tangible presence brushing past them, or the fleeting image of a figure moving silently between the trees. These experiences leave a lasting impression, as if the land itself remembers the lives lost on its soil. Among the most chilling accounts are those tied to the farm's pond. Over the years, several drownings have occurred here, some accidental, others shrouded in mystery. Witnesses claim that on quiet nights, the surface of the water sometimes ripples without cause, and the soft sound of splashing can be heard when no one is near. Some who approach the pond have seen shadowy shapes skimming across the water, disappearing as suddenly as they appear. Many believe these are the spirits of those who lost their lives there, still tethered to the pond and its surroundings. Inside the farmhouse, paranormal activity continues to unsettle visitors. Cold spots seem to appear out of nowhere. Doors swing open and shut without explanation, and faint whispers echo along the creaking wooden floors. People exploring the property have reported hearing footsteps behind them, only to find the hallways empty, and objects sometimes appear to move on their own. These occurrences have attracted the attention of paranormal investigators, who have recorded audio anomalies and detected unusual electromagnetic activity, reinforcing the farm's haunted reputation. Animals on the property often act strangely as well. Horses, dogs, and other farm animals have been observed avoiding certain areas of the pine groves or staring intently at spots where no one stands. Some seem restless, reacting to presences that humans cannot always perceive. Locals interpret these behaviors as further evidence that Whispering Pines Farm is a place where the living and the spectral coexist, and where the spirits of the past continue to make their presence known. The legends surrounding Whispering Pines Farm have been passed down through generations. Stories speak of spirits calling out to the living, sometimes as warnings, sometimes as echoes of grief. Some say the whispers are not malicious, but instead represent the memories of former inhabitants tied to the land, repeating their final moments or attempting to communicate with those who wander too close. The combination of history, tragedy, and repeated eyewitness accounts has made the farm a focal point for those intrigued by the paranormal. Visitors often leave Whispering Pines Farm with experiences that linger long after they depart. The whispers in the pine groves, the shadowy figures moving silently among the trees, the sudden chills, and the sensation of being watched create an atmosphere both unnerving and captivating. Even skeptical guests often admit to feeling a profound sense of unease, as if the land itself holds memories and emotions that refuse to remain hidden. Whispering Pines Farm stands as a chilling testament to the power of place, history, and memory. The echoes of tragedy, the persistent whispers, and the ghostly figures all contribute to an atmosphere where the boundary between the living and the dead feels thin. For those who walk among the pines at night, the farm offers an encounter with the past, a glimpse of spirits tied to the land, and a haunting reminder that some voices never fade. As our journey through Kentucky's haunted farms comes to a close, we're reminded that every field, barn, and farmhouse carries a story, some of hard work and family, others of tragedy and restless spirits. These haunted landscapes invite us to reflect on the lives that once walked the land, the secrets whispered by the wind, and the shadows that linger long after the sun sets. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's an undeniable energy in these places that stirs curiosity, awe, and a touch of fear. So, the next time you drive past a quiet country road, a forgotten farmhouse, or a weathered barn, remember, history has a way of leaving its mark, and sometimes the past never truly lets go. Stay curious, stay cautious, and above all, respect the stories these haunted lands have to tell, because they may be closer than you think.